Dynamite, 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 dynamite.
Welcome to the Hump Day edition of Outlaw Radio. Wednesday night, man, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time is the time that we do what we do a couple times a week, which is this show, the People's Network presents Outlaw Radio Testify on a Hump Day. Not alone, got my co-host with me, Mr. Cartel. What's popping with you, bro?
Peace. What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the coach and teacher. I'm the hood healer. I'm the ghetto witch doctor. I'm your holistic health and wellness coach, Mr. Kamar Carter. Peace. Peace to the family. I'm also the one who brings you Nation and Terror Urban Supplements and Vitality. You can find it on Facebook under Nation Terror Urban Supplements, or you can go to my health page, Help Yourself Heal Thyself, and ask somebody about it. Or you can go to my page, Kamar Carter, inbox me, and I'll tell you how to order your Nature's Terror Urban Supplements and Vitality. Man, y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you.
Trying to get down to it, man, and stay positive. Like I said, Hump Day edition of Outlaw Radio. I got my other co-host in the building. What's going on with you, my brother?
Blessed to be here, man. Excited for the discussion tonight.
Oh yeah. If you want to get in on this conversation, the phone number is 262-202-5131. We also have a very active chat room. Shout out to everybody who supports us. We're normally on Mondays through Thursdays. I do a big black sports show. I do a whole bunch of different things. But the most important thing that I do is I have very, very important conversations regarding black people with other black people, right? And so that's what this is really all about, just a safe space for us to be on here and talk like grown-ups. No disrespect will be allowed. We don't support no unsolidated banging on no singular outlaw type shit, which just means we don't let people jump on us, right? That's all that means. Support one of these shows though, man. If you like the sports show, if you like Outlaw Radio, you like my boy Kamar's Nature's Terror, you support my boy Rail's books. Courtney's on here, you jump on her juices. If you're just trying to do something positive in the community, you want to have a voice, you want to get on, you want to represent, just hit me, right? I'm not no celebrity or nothing like that. Just hit me up. I don't even play the role, right? Like I don't walk around here like, oh yeah, I'm a podcaster. I'm just a regular dude. I just got a microphone. And so if you have a microphone and you have a platform, I support that in the city, man. It's a lot of platforms throughout the city that have come along in the last few years. And so do your thing, man. More power to the people, man. Outlaw Radio Testify. Why did I call the show Testify? We often talk about spirituality and faith on our show, right? And so we have this discussion whether it's about what people would define as religion, or if it's just about like a personal quest to obtain some sort of otherworldly understanding of something that's bigger than you. However you get to it. Rail has a whole book, a manual on how to kind of get to this place, because you need balance, and within that is some things that have to be spiritual. You have to understand that there's a supernatural nature to our reality, right? Like, so I don't know if people understand what that means. I said testify. I wasn't talking about in court. We can talk about testifying in court too, and we have talked about it because we know about what's snitching, who's the rat, and what goes under with snitching and all this kind of stuff. I'm talking about a different kind of testify. I told y'all I was a PK. I came up in the Baptist church, right? Very large one. And a very important part of the service every week was the time when people got to get up and give their testimonies, right? And what that meant was they got to come forth and speak about how they've seen God work or a miracle happen in their life. And people say, testify. I had $2 in the bank. I didn't know how I was going to eat. I went to the mailbox and checked for $3,000. Thank you, God. People be like, testify. Yeah, that's our testimony, right? And it could be something deeper. I don't want to like trivialize it, but I'm saying it's that kind of conversation when I say testify. So when we get to that, we're going to talk about our own personal testimonies, right? And I would ask anybody out there to think about what's your testimony. If you had to get up right now, no matter what you worried about, no matter what you stressed, oh, they done killed some motherfuckers in Buffalo in the store and shooting up the fireworks and the kid boys. Okay, we know about that. But in order to establish a positive direction, what is your own personal testimony? What makes you you? What gives you your understanding? What gives you your motivation? We're gonna get into that tonight. It's gonna be a damn good show. So welcome to the show. Welcome to Outlaw Radio. We're gonna talk about a whole bunch of stuff tonight, man. Kamar, what you think about this testimony that I'm talking about?
Well, I'm big on testimonies, man. Your testimony is something that's going to teach somebody. Your testimony is something that's going to help get somebody through a problem that they going through. If it's something that you've been through, you know what I'm saying? So to me, testimonies are big. You know what I mean? And like for me, also testimony. Like when I told you the other day, went to talk to them kids. I was talking to the kids at the cooking class. And I feel like my testimony a lot of the time is what connects me to people. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the people who most holistic people can't reach to, or you know what I'm saying, where most brothers ain't gonna talk to. Like, man, I ain't finna tell this dude my problems, man. He ain't been through no shit I've been through. You know what I'm saying? But I'm that dude. I've been around the block like that, and my testimony connects me to people. So, you know what I mean? It's important for you to have a testimony. So those who live like you or been through some of the stuff or going through some of the stuff you've been through, you know what I mean, can benefit.
And I think some dudes will too heavily attach this to, oh, they doing church, all they do. But even if we are, so what? Right? You listen to all kinds of dumbass shit all the time. Don't complain now, right? So what? Even if we are, Rel, let's talk about the test. How important is it to understand how to articulate your own testimony?
As far as articulation, when you dealing with that kind of vibe or frequency, if you go according to the word, it say the spirit, intercedes for you with groans and utterances and shit like that. So it's more so. It's good to articulate, especially if you are of the of the teaching portion of it. But otherwise, man, shit, more than articulation, be transparent and real. Be transparent and honest. Be vulnerable. I try to tell people it's the transparency that allows for transmutation. You got to kind of show people your shit and how you overcame it so that they know that you've been in it and could possibly guide them out of it. So, the testimony, it kind of show your stripes, I guess I would say, or your credentials into being able to talk about what you talk, like you know what you know.
And when I say articulation, I wasn't even speaking in like utilizing the Queen's English or, verbs and nouns and pronouns. I mean, sometimes you have to be able to say certain things out loud to understand them. Right. And so when I say articulate, I simply mean to be able to put it into words.
Okay.
Not I'm judging your grammar or anything in that regard. What I'm saying is to get started down the path of healing or positivity, you have to look back and say, okay, I know everything that I don't have, and I know everything that's unfortunate, but let me start adding up the things that are fortunate. Let me start adding up the ways that something did happen for me that was out of my control. It happened. It was a tremendous blessing. I met someone who pointed me in a direction. Like people don't even think about, like at times you may have been lost somewhere, or you may have lost something or looking for something. Out of nowhere comes a person who says, oh, are you looking for so-and-so, or is this yours? And you be like, yeah. And you get it and you think, damn, this shit could have been lost, or I could have been lost. And then you look around and the person is nowhere to be found. Right? Like, so even little things like that happen in your life, man. So
all the time.
Right. So in order to be able to talk about this is how you get yourself pointed in the right direction. Shout out to my homie Roger Zeladon. He always says, man, when you find yourself in the hole, the first thing you need to do is stop digging, right? And start putting dirt back in the hole, right? Pretty soon you'll be above ground again. So when I say your personal testimony, and like I like how Kamar put it in going to people who may be in comment section right now, and they'll hold it in because they'll say, "There's no way dude would understand. I don't even know who this dude is. He don't know my story." And then you hear his, and you say, "Oh wow." Cause like people will come up to you and introduce themselves.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, heard what you were saying, man, and I felt this, and it's like, okay, boom. So I want black people, and this goes along with what we were talking about the other night in terms of affirmations and really trying to speak things into existence, right? Like in getting away from the handcuffs on our brain. Our brains are handcuffed. We can't unlock motive. It's hard to unlock motivation for a lot of us because we say, man, but man, because of the shit I've been through, because of the things that have happened to me, I can't do this, or I don't do that, or I won't do this. And you'd be like, man, you're only holding yourself back. I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker. I'm really not. I'm really sticking to the script when I talk about testimony, right? Shout out to Che and Kruma. I see you, my brother, from Frontline Black News out in Denver. He's running for mayor in Denver. Shout out to him.
What's happening?
And Shabaka, man. Shabaka St. Coors. Shabaka's experience enhanced. But so like I like my testimony when I tell people when they say, well, Kevin, because I've worked with young people for 20 years and I've been in some pretty tough rooms with some real, some real cats from the neighborhood. Not like they was killers or goons, but they were from this environment.
Yeah.
Right? And so to just be able to tell them, look, I totally understand the kind of insecurities that you're dealing with. I understand the fear of what's going to happen to me. How am I going to live? I understand the tension around you. I understand the pressure, the peer pressure, all of that stuff when you growing up in the hood with no money and there's violence and craziness around you. I get it. I get it. I understand it. And in order to get them to go along and really open up to you sometimes, pause, is you have to really be explicit about where you've been. And then they'll say, oh shit, this cat is real. And so you start to be able to communicate with them. And so, like I said, I think just to be able to tell a group of people, man, you have no idea where I come from, right? And I ain't talking about, man, I got this Cadillac. Oh man, I just looked up. I came up with a lack. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about like I'm the son of former sharecroppers who survived the Jim Crow South, right? The Great Migration. This is where you really come from, right? Like two people who weren't educated, weren't super educated, just get it out the mud, as they say, from growing up in the most harsh conditions. To listen to my parents' stories about Mississippi, like especially my mom talking about picking cotton and the size of the fields that they had to pick, and man, just having nothing to eat. It's just a portrait of poverty and fucking dysfunction. And so for them to be able to escape that, come into this situation, and I'm the next generation up where I become the first male college graduate. I become the first male master's degree, potentially the first male PhD. That's a testimony of where I come from. I ain't come from no blue bloods, right? So when I tell kids that, dude, I grew up right there on the north side in the 80s during the crack era, right? That's my testimony. Not about, man, I went to the mall and these shoes was on sale and I caught them, dog. That's my testimony. No, that's not, man. That's not just man, we got some good ass weed, man, for cheap.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
All the time, dog. Throw some up, Brother Johnson. What's going on, Courtney? Welcome to Outlaw Radio.
How y'all doing? How y'all night going so far?
Peace.
Good.
It's Outlaw Radio. It's Testify. It's like, what's your personal story? What drives you? Who are you? Where you come from? Why should I listen to what you got to say? Right? Like, if you're going to talk, we often talk on here. So people say, why the fuck should I listen to either one of them? So I'm talking about the power of your personal testimony. So I want everybody to even just give me what their personal, not in too much detail, but if you thought about it now, and we'll start with Kamar. If I put this mic in your face in the room and I say, Kamar, give these people your testimony, what would the outline of it be like?
I grew up in a single family home. I went to prison. I played football. I did some time in the streets. I was a rapper for a little while, and all that shit turned me into who I am today. I learned different stuff from each one of those things. When I was in the streets, I learned how to sell stuff hand to hand, convince somebody to buy shit, and not be shy about getting out here and selling something. You know what I mean? When I was a rapper, I learned how to sell myself. The black man, the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture teacher, hood healer. You know what I mean? The rapper come out right there. You know what I mean? Football. You know what I'm saying? I learned that I can refrain myself from doing certain shit. You know what I mean? You lose your cool on the football field, Kev. You know that. You know what I mean? You lose your cool on the football field sometime, and you learn to hold yourself back. You learn restraint. You know what I'm saying? You learn that you can do things that you never thought you could do physically. You know what I mean? So you learn how to push myself. I learned self-drive. I learned how to, self-determination in all those different aspects. I learned different shit that turned me into who I am today.
Okay. Well, what would your testimony be? I know you've been up in the church. We didn't talk about it. I don't want you to get this ain't gonna trigger you, is it? Because I don't need
No,
Real be down there dancing on the pole with the music playing.
That's funny. And it's even funnier because one time my mother was playing music down here, and it was just a funny ass contrast to have the pole in the background while the presence of the Lord is here is playing. She was down here cleaning up or something like that. But
Right.
it was wild as hell, but it was amusing. But
Right.
no, my testimony would be that shit. You know what? I had to rebuild myself from nothing at all. I got married at 20 and was a father and husband before I learned who the fuck I really was. So when I went through a divorce and faced losing everything that I felt made me a man, I had to really figure out, how to draw my value from myself and not just what I could do for my family. So, I learned how to draw my value for myself, learn how to love myself, accidentally stumbled across shadow work to heal past childhood traumas and things like that before I even knew what shadow work was. It allowed me to write books to share my experience, and I get approached all the time, either in person or in my inbox, from everybody saying, just reading that first chapter, I've been there. Because that's the thing, you want to make it relatable, and everybody done had to go through their valley of the shadow of death, and some of us not fortunate enough to make it out of it, but me as a person who did, my goal is to turn my experience into something that I can educate people with, and if you can find a way to turn your pain into purpose, then you ain't go through that shit in vain.
Right. And if you're listening and you want to call in and give your testimony, or you want to put it in the chat room, you are welcome to do so. The number is 262-202-5131, Outlaw Radio. I'm not going to laugh at you if you a brother. I know people like, Kev, you always making fun of me. Like if you say, if you a brother and you put in there, I overcame domestic violence, and I be like, oh, no.
Especially if you gonna walk them, kid.
I was married to a good girl, man.
I ain't
She's no
calling.
shot put. Courtney, what would yours be? People jump in your Uber and you feel like, oh, this person needs to hear they need to feel me. What's your testimony for them?
I guess I came from trauma. My whole life has been trauma. Like, I guess since I was born. My mama done cheated on her husband and got pregnant by some other nigga, and then kept the nigga away, and numerous stepdads and boyfriends, and moving and different people and different experiences, and a mom that wasn't really focused on her kids because she was too focused on her life and trying to get niggas, and stealing cars and homelessness, and this is on teenage years, and St. Charles, and just overcoming all these different things that life give you, and having a kid after high school, and just still from going from not knowing yourself at all, and not knowing what self-love is, or having any self-worth, to finding it and getting it, and dwelling in it and searching for it more, becoming and searching for the best version of yourself. And shit, I've done a lot of things. Niggas be in and out the country. I be traveling. You know, I be living life how I want to. I raise my kids right and put them in everything I can to make sure that their lives can be great and try to help other people be great. So, you know, I could have been fucked up. It seemed like my granny was out here fucked up and she fucked up all her kids. And, you know, luckily we all ain't fucked up because, nigga, she fucked them up. So, like, yeah, so that is triumph right there because niggas could be fucked up, Kev. It could be like the mother parents out here because a lot of time we just follow what was done to us and just keep that shit going. We don't really break them cycles. But sometimes you gotta be like, man, I ain't like that shit. I don't like the way I was treated. I'm a damn sure not do it to nobody else or to my children. So yeah, Kev, you know, niggas found out how to be great within themselves.
Right.
I keep hearing a recurring theme. I keep hearing everybody, and I'm glad everybody, because I would have been kind of confused. I was like, damn, they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Everybody has named some serious adversity that was just boom. It was up on them. Kamar's talking about going to prison, right? Like, come on, like that's damn. How the fuck I end up here?
Hey, sometimes, hey, look, man. Sometimes I look back and I still can't believe, like, God damn, I was there.
Right, real.
You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't in the house of correction, dog. He wasn't. No, he was up north.
Hey, man, I did that too. Like,
I found God when I was in house corrections real quick in them 7 days. Ooh, wait, I read. Whew.
Hey, everybody do.
I know.
Everybody find God when they go to jail.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Niggas turn to preachers and all kind of shit, man. They be holding Bible study in the corner of the day room and shit.
Oh, look, hold on now. You ain't supposed to go super religious from going to the house of correction now. Come on now.
Look, Kev, that shit
Come home now. Be a Muslim now.
They hold Bible study in the back left corner of the dorm.
Yeah. But no, I heard Rail talk about losing his family. For a man, especially a young man, to think I'm married and I'm doing this the right way and I got these kids and boom, snatched away. Once again, how the fuck this happened? What the fuck am I doing here? Like,
it was wild as fuck, man. But you know what? It made me who I am today. Because now, like, even that was just the depression and overcoming depression part. Like, I never tap on how I dealt with child support for 10 years for children that I had 50-50 custodial placement for. You know, like, that's a whole nother triumph I got, because now I get that shit. After 10 years, them trying to use it as a bargaining chip, well, if you want me to reduce your child support, let me get the kids more. It's like, damn, so if you can have the kids more for less child support, why the fuck am I paying? But you know, but I just had to earn my stripes, get educated, educate myself, and went back to court and
don't know what they fighting for.
But I mean,
don't know what they fighting for.
Well, no, because you know and the crazy thing is this, and I don't want I ain't talking down on her. Just some women in general, they don't give a fuck about the money. It's the power. It's the power of saying when you can get the kids. It's the power of saying, you know, oh well, yeah, I got your money. I'll get some of it back if you do this for, you know what I'm saying? So some people just power trip, man. But you know, I had to go through what I went through to get where I'm at. And now I help other dudes let them know, like, man, I know the child support system is bullshit. I know some people abuse it, but there is a way and there is a light at the end of the tunnel if you willing to thug through the steps. You know, legal aid. I don't know if they still do it on Tuesdays, but Marquette used to have like law students at the courthouse to help you with legal aid on Tuesdays. So there's all kinds of shit for anybody dealing with that child support to reach out to and get some more education on it.
Right. And then even when Courtney was talking about real like family trauma, like shit that as a kid you born into this, you didn't ask to be born. You just like, what? Once again, what the fuck? How the fuck did this happen? Why I'm here? How the fuck did I get here? Like, so it's once again it's relevant to what I'm saying, that when you talk about being able to articulate your testimony and being able to tell other people, hey man, look, I know it's going hard for you right now, but I'm trying to tell you, if you just have a little perseverance and just sort of what they say, the faith of a mustard seed. I don't know what you believe in, but you better find something expeditiously to grab a hold to.
Hey, a lot of the time, man, the motherfucking solution to all their problems might just be waking up earlier. It
Right.
ain't even, you know what I mean? It ain't even got to be nothing big. A lot of the time, man, it
Right.
just be little small stuff that small things in our routine that's holding us back.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Yeah, James said, "What up, bull?" He said, I applied for a pardon and they denied me. Yeah, I
Oh
mean, a lot
shit.
of brothers go through that, man. Once again, it's Outlaw Radio on a hump day. Testify, and we just talking about our own personal testimonies. Like I'm thinking about like being born to old parents. Like my father was 40 years old when I was born. So, like and so everything I got from one like birth to 10. By the time I was 10, he was 50. So our conversations was a little bit different, right?
What
Like
year was he born?
my father actually was born in 1935.
Oh, like
Yeah,
my granny. Damn.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess he's supposed to be you old. Yeah.
Right,
That's
right
right for
now,
me.
yeah, I'm old as hell now. So imagine that make him even older, right? Thank you
Yeah.
for shooting that at me. Yeah, your ass old as fuck, so he had to be a slave, right? Like
No, that is not my because my
I
granny
know,
was not a
I know, I
slave,
know.
but I'm just saying they the same age.
Like, damn,
That's
Was
kid.
he
all.
born into slavery?
Right. They came up here on the Underground Railroad, huh? Harriet Tubman in his yearbook. No. But I'm saying once again, our conversations was different. So my father always was
Yeah.
he was a grown man. So he talked to me like you're gonna be a man one day. I'm gonna tell you some shit right that you don't understand right now that you'll figure out in some years.
Right, right.
Like so that helped me overcome a lot of shit. And then I just did the stupidest of stupidest with my life at one point. Like you got the world by the balls. Why do you want to be reckless, right? Just being an angry ass motherfucker who love to fight. And that was just it. Well, then you ain't even from no bad family. Why you so fucking bad? Like I didn't have no answer for the shit. Like it's fun. Like what dude I like to do hood rat shit.
Understandable. Yeah.
Smoke cigarettes with my friends.
Right, that would have been me when I was 10. If they was like, why you out here acting like this? I like doing hood rat shit. Like dumb as hell, man. And like I said, growing up during the crack epidemic, where the peak of it, where our community was a crazy place to live, very, very dangerous for a black man. That when Pac say death around the corner, when he says that, people don't understand how literal that actually is for a lot of brothers. I see death around the corner, like literally, it's watching me every day. I got enemies. The police want to kill me. Like it's, my woman is scheming on me. My crew is trying to set me up. I don't know which way it's coming from. Speaking of Tupac, right? And if y'all want to give y'all testimonies, please call in. And because we're going to keep talking about that because it's very important, right? Because once you start thinking about it, you start remembering other shit. Like, man, didn't I have sickle cell when I was a baby? Man, I got over that shit, cuz. One of my legs was longer than the other one until I was 15. Man, just work that shit out in the gym. Now I can walk right. Like, you'll start thinking about all this shit that you've actually overcome. All the blessings, even for people say, I don't believe in God. Well, I don't know where you think these things came from. I don't know what you call him or her. I don't know where you think these kinds of, for somebody to be in prison one day and then to come home and become an asset to the community, helping people eat better and live better and exercise health and wellness. For somebody who's going through a fractured family, still be able to come out on the other side and big up family values, right? For a young lady who was obviously was scarred from a bunch of different angles in terms of family, to be able to at least create a safe spot for her own children. Like she ain't, the shit I hear her talk about her mom did to her, I would hope that you're not doing some of that shit to your own sons now, like extending it. I'm hoping now you say, no, I learned from that. I'm gonna make sure that I don't put that on my children. That's one less fucking piece of trauma that they got to take with them with their kids. It takes generations to clean this shit out. There's so much of it. Damn, 4-5 generations from now, we just getting over some shit. Shout out to Crystal Ship. She said, hey, how you doing, sis? She said, Control C in the building, always, always. But yeah, we talking about Tupac, and I don't know if this is just a trend where when you are an entertainer, especially a rapper, when you need to sell records or you need to get hot on the internet, you just come out and say something crazy about Tupac, right? And it's a shame that it's like this. But T-Pain comes out and in an interview with DJ Academics. Once again, I live in the Podverse, so I watch all this kind of shit. I'm a cheerleader for foolishness. He comes out and says Tupac today lyrically would get murdered Like lyrically, we talking just lyrically. He says because these rappers today is way better lyrically than Tupac could have ever been. And it's just like, what?
Right, what?
In today's hip hop, right? In today's hip hop, Tupac would get murdered lyrically. He wasn't a great lyricist, he said. And in today's game, he would get murdered. And I'm like, by who? First of all, by who? I don't know.
Right.
And secondly, I was thinking, like, why would you say this? Because your music is not even comparable. You're not even on the same level. And I'm not dissing
Right.
T-Pain. Like, because I said, oh, it's fun. Oh, you got me. That's a little fun. That's fun. Right?
Right.
Fun. Right? That's all. That's kind of slick. I said, Wisconsin. That's all cool. You ain't talking about shit. You don't have any music that has any meaning socially, nothing that's socially redeeming, nothing that's conscious for us as black people. You in love with a stripper. That was one of your songs. And shout out to you. If right now you say, Kev, I am too, though, man. And with my little girl, man, look, that's all good. I'm saying this is your output. This is what you put in the game, T-Pain. And you talking about somebody who had a social presence, right? Like somebody whose words at one point actually meant something to a generation, right? Because I know, and once again, I understand a lot of people now who talk shit about Tupac was just babies when he was still alive. I happen to be grown when he was still alive. I remember the energy. I remember how people was that dude. I heard Snoop on the radio. Oh, I was a bigger thing. No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. None of y'all was shit compared to that man. That's on one point. And then on the next point, lyrically, really, I need for people right now to stop saying that man wasn't lyrical. It's a popular, that's why Biggie better. No, it's not true. That man had quotables up the ass. I don't know what you're talking about. No.
Hey, the nigga had a poem book, a book of poems.
Right. Like, so T-Pain, man, I don't know if y'all heard this or not, but so, and I'm not all up on today's music. So if you're saying J. Cole or who else would y'all consider a Black Thought or somebody, but he's old. Somebody who we like in today's Kendrick Lamar. Is Kendrick Lamar lyrically better than Tupac?
I would say probably lyrically.
Oh wow. Okay. What you think, Red?
And the reason why I say that is because he's more creative with it. You know what I mean? When Pac come on, when you hear Pac song, you know how Pac gonna come. You know how he gonna flow. You know everything. You know what I mean? And with Kendrick Lamar, he says some real interesting shit. He says some dope shit in them lines. You know what I mean? Okay. And he just a little more creative, I feel like.
Right.
I like Pac better, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like lyrically, yeah, I think Kendrick Lamar could get with it.
Okay. What you think, Rail?
As far as like somebody today or Kendrick Lamar, are you asking?
I picked Kendrick because people look at Kendrick like he's on another level with his music. Like lyrically, people give Kendrick right now. Kendrick's probably the biggest thing in the game. He gets the most respect across the board.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, you weirdo, fuck dude. I'm just
I mean, you know, the best art comes from wit. But I mean, me personally, I was never really a Pac like everybody else, because I always loved, you know, I think like when Pac was around, I don't think I was listening to the South as of yet. I probably was Midwest pimp shit, do or die, you know, crew. Like I like smooth shit. So like Pac, I always, to me, one that a lot of people don't even say a classic. You know, they bring up all, you know, Dear Mama and Keep Your Head Up, I Get Around. One of my all-time favorite Pac songs is Brenda Had a Baby. Like the beat, the storytelling, just like that shit was so dope. Like, so I love that song of Pac's, and I love the Friends with the Houdini sample. Like those are two Pac songs that you will catch me playing a lot. But as far as who will eat them up lyrically, I mean, as far as profoundness and passion, I don't really think nobody topping them. But as far as somebody eating them up lyrically, hell, the same people that was around when he was around. Shit, I think Bun B to me is one of the, like Bun B to me, if you listen to I ain't gonna say old Bun B. I mean, he got the right to be how he is now.
Old Bun B. You say it, old Bun B.
I mean, but when Bun B was young and hungry, man, come on now. Go back and listen to Murder. Go back and listen to
Cocaine in the back of the ride.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
it was, but it was a bunch of motherfuckers back then and even before Tupac. You know what I mean? And you can think about any rapper like that. You know what I mean? As somebody who could possibly have been more lyrical.
But I will not take away his passion, his profoundness, and his boldness to speak on shit that other people was scared. Hell, he popped some cops that was fucking with a nigga. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Those are the main reasons why I feel like Pop is my favorite rapper.
I mean, you know, outside of the rap game, I mean, as a person, I fucks with him, you know what I'm saying? But when he was a rapper, I was either listening to country rap tunes or some Midwest Bone Thugs and Harmony, Do or Die, pimp shit.
Courtney, what you? I know you always like, I'm on here with these old ass dudes talking about some shit I ain't never heard of. Who the fuck is Bun B?
Don't be acting like I'm just that young. Like I'm not 34.
The trio
you're
OG.
40, what? You're not just that much older than me. You like
That's
the age
10,
of my
I
big
got
brothers.
10 years on you. What are you talking
You
about?
like
You
the
was
same age
8.
as my big brothers. I know
Right,
these
but
things.
you was
But
8
my
when
big
I was
brother,
18.
he was
Like,
more
so
of a New York dude. So he was
okay.
always listening to like Chic Luch and the Locks and
Okay.
you know, DMX and yeah, so we really didn't. I mean, I knew about Pac and I liked Pac, but I didn't listen to him much because being around my brother, we was in New York. That's what we
Okay.
was doing. That's what he was bumping. But no, he did some Dre and shit. He did do some Dre and shit. Just not a lot of Pac, I guess. But I did like Pac, and he was very lyrical. He did speak on different issues. He was passionate. He was a little wild. I liked him. He was, you know, he was kind of sexy a little bit, you know. But lyrically, as of right now, I think Kendrick is straight. Kendrick, I mean, because we don't lyrically, you would have to, especially when you look at mainstream, because you would have to start looking underground. Because the mainstream motherfuckers they got out there,
Right. Is that
you know.
is that retarded ass, like, you know what I'm saying? They either drugged out or like, I don't know. It's a,
Yeah,
you know,
we have to get into the underground because there's
yeah,
plenty dope motherfuckers out here. You know
it
what I'm saying?
is.
Plenty dope motherfuckers. So
And you know what? I didn't even want to approach this as like a Tupac fan. Like because obviously I'm with Kamar in terms of, to me, Tupac is the greatest rapper of all times. Like I don't think anybody's even close in terms of being a rapper.
So what is LL
Right.
then? Y'all talking all that about LL?
Well, LL is one of the greatest rappers of all time. In terms of sales and popularity and longevity.
So who the
And
top
LL
5
lyrically
then,
was a bad boy too, but he's one of the greatest. He's not the greatest. Right? Like, and we know that we start talking about top 5 dead or alive and all this kind of stuff. It gets very, 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 very subjective, right? Like, so you start, but I like, well, I'm telling you, but Bun B and like people start throwing my uncle, my uncle he went to the house and became a preacher. He stopped rapping in the house of correction and became a preacher. What the But no, I'm saying when we talk about hip hop, it's funny how we always gotta quantify things. When we say who's the greatest ever, so people will say the greatest black entertainer ever was James Brown. Well, Al Green would sing James Brown under the table. If we talking about being singers, shit, Luther Vandross could blow a tune so smooth that James couldn't even register.
So y'all, you just said entertainer though.
Hey,
That's
but
what
if you go to a James Brown show,
I'm trying to they say on what is it, Clubhouse? Let me land, right?
Right.
I've been watching Clubhouse, man. Sorry. Bullshit. But no, I'm saying so we gotta quantify everything. So we say point blank period, who's the biggest rapper who meant the most to the game, who is the greatest? We got to start saying, well, if we talking about in California or if we talking about the East, no, we ain't just who is the greatest, right? Just because you ain't the best, the best vocal singer doesn't mean you ain't the greatest singer. You know, just because you ain't the best horn player don't mean you wasn't the best musician. So I'm saying we got to call it what it is. Now, my chat room is snapping because Crystal said T-Pain don't even qualify to make a statement against Pac. Yeah, once again, I just kind of losses like we
Right,
have.
like, who the fuck you think he is?
Right, there we go. I'm like, the show don't get going until Kamar be like, wait a minute, fuck that. Fuck. Actually, you know the show is rolling with Kamar. Like, what the fuck? Oh man, hell no. Jesse Perry said the audacity of T-Pain to say some nonsense. He needs the views. It's clickbait. Scarface, come on, man.
Clickbait.
Come on, I'm full of my shits I be seeing on the internet, man. I'm telling you, I be in this shit. Deion James says, come on, man. Who's touching? See, Face to me is right behind Pimp C. So when I hear Rail talk about the Southern sound, come on, man. Early, too hard to swallow UGK, too hard to swallow Bun B, Riding Dirty, Super Tight. Come on, man. All them albums was in my shit so hard. Because keep in mind, I was grown. So this shit was in my car playing.
Right.
This is what I'm driving around every day listening to, the South and the West Coast, right? So I'm just saying, yeah, T-Pain, yeah, but just to say that, and once again, I don't understand why people keep every time somebody Funk Flex did it, even Whack 100 started. Tupac wasn't no legend, no gangster. Like nobody cares if he was a gangster or not. Like to me, I don't need to know he wasn't no real gang member. Oh damn. Guess I won't be listening to his shit.
Right.
Deion James said he was a revolutionary, which is something else that T-Pain.
He definitely was. I mean, that's one of the quotes that I always use. I can't say that I'm gonna change the world, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna spark the mind that does. You know, and that's my mentality, and that's something that resonated with me throughout the rest of my life. That that he said.
Bun B is a beast, especially on that murder. Everybody talk about murder. Murder is one of many. If you're a UGK fan, murder is shit, Pinky Ring, all kinds of. There's so many songs.
I never heard them songs.
See,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Toss the belts to match.
Come on, man.
I like UGK. Bitch, I know you like that. I like that.
Ride around with my ring on my plane.
What songs we saying I should listen to? Murder.
Oh man, the whole Ride.
I'm gonna send you a list.
Album, thank you. Send me a list.
Ride Dirty album. Bun B showed every piece of his ass. Pause lyrically on that album. It's one of the. And you get to the end of that album, you be like, who the fuck is Bun B? If you ain't never heard of him before.
So do you think like as he got older, he like I ain't gotta prove shit to y'all no more, or like what is it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's still cold. He's still one of the coldest, but it's a different Bun B today than it was when he was on the Getty Green compilation. Yeah, true.
I'm riding with Kamar there. I think some people just had kind of this chemistry, right? And I think Pimp brought the best out of Bun.
Yeah.
And Bun brought the best out of
Remember the verses? Bun B wasn't all the way there.
Yeah, but he did it. That's still one of my favorite verses.
He did it, but you know what I mean?
You can tell that spirit.
I still wouldn't say even back then if you'd put a track together, because first of all, what people forget is Tupac was on a lot of songs with a lot of motherfuckers, and normally he murdered them on their own song. All these people you talking about, that motherfucker was lyrical, he was cold. I don't recall a song where Tupac had a guest where you said to him he killed Pac on there. He was always the best on any song he was on. Matter of fact, he made the song better. And the whole California, the whole Bay Area would say, nah, bro, ain't nobody fucking with that man. So, but T-Pain, man, come on, man, he's a joke. Sharon Evans said Cuckoo Cal.
Hey,
that's man, Cuckoo Cal and Baby Drew still are my favorite Milwaukee cats.
Baby Drew.
Well, I ain't even gonna limit them to Milwaukee. I still bump that Cocaine Cowboys all the time.
Powder is the greatest album that was ever made in Milwaukee and released here. No local artist has ever made an album better than Powder. Come on,
Derek Note don't get his props either, because Derek Note is a beast.
Not at all.
Hey, that Walking Dead album was hot too.
But it wasn't better than Powder, Kamar. It wasn't better than Powder.
Hard, man.
It wasn't better than Powder. Now, come on, man. I was locked in the joint for about a 10-piece. Everybody in my age group is
why
right now. There'd be so many walkers and canes on the dance floor.
But don't act like everybody wasn't playing that Walking Dead. Like you couldn't go outside and a car ride past, bumping some shit off of Walking Dead.
Well, My Projects was the #2 song in the country. He was on Soul Train, so it's a different kind of discussion.
But that was a different album, though, wasn't it? Wasn't that My Projects? Wasn't that the second album? That was with Tommy Boy.
It was an EP. I don't know. I think you talking about his underground joint here. The first one he made.
The underground joint is the one I felt like should have been the one that went cross country, Walking Dead.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? My Projects was on the second album.
I can't take away none of those I can't take nothing away from none of those rappers that we just named, but I still can sit here and tell you none of them have shit on Pop.
Kev, you know how to rap?
I used to be known to, write a verse or two. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, I pimp my pen, as they say.
Recorded?
I keep it on locks. Nobody will ever hear it.
Okay.
My kids got a hold to it one time. It was run through. Don't play that. You don't want to hear what. You don't want to hear what Daddy says on the second verse. It's pretty bad. We'll put that away. KRS-One, yeah. And look, I'm Cuckoo and Drew, some of my favorites too, especially
legends.
Drew been on the show about 3 times.
Oh damn!
So, yeah, Drew's been here and got interviewed. So
Drew Hefner.
Yeah, man. That's what they call him. I mean, that last shit we just had when they released the blues song. That shit was so fire. We had him and the girl who's on there, Nina Stacks. They were both on here. That was just a couple years ago. Steve-O, all that, man. I talked to all of them. I fucks with that. That's Milwaukee shit. I agree with Kev. Tupac is the GOAT, right? And once again, it's just such a subjective conversation. But when you see somebody like T-Pain, I just stumbled across the interview of Glasses Malone, the young rapper. He's younger than us. He's been around a while, from the West Coast, who made the song "Tupac Must Die," and he had the whole video, and it's clickbait, because he's really talking about the story. He's telling the story. He's not saying Tupac should die. So people seeing that because people get banged. Just why we talking about it now, because the reality is, who gives a fuck what T-Pain says, right? Because he done said a bunch of shit a bunch of times. We ain't never talked about him on the show. Shout out to him for being up here for Jazzy's Wisconsin festival. They gave, and it just so happened that he makes this asinine statement after we give him a proclamation to the city.
Did they say, like, did they ask him a question, or what even brought about the comment? Like, was there something before the comment that it kind of help us understand it better?
It's an interview with DJ Academics, and once again, if you're in the podverse, you know who DJ Academics is.
Can't stand him.
Like, once again, that's what. So I know you know exactly who he is, because it's. But
wasn't he saying some creepy shit about kids or something like that?
He did. He's been a part of. He was part of the whole 6ix9ine thing. But the young brother made himself into a polarizing fixture in hip hop. Like, so he made a lane. He carved out a lane, because a lot of times in rap, if you become really controversial, you got a lot of people who gonna watch you or listen to you just to hear you fuck up or see somebody get at you.
Yeah.
Because people are watching Whack 100 videos and hanging on everything now because people really want to see something happen to him. Because people are like, man, I don't like that motherfucker, man. He be talking shit, and it's like, man, it's a crazy thing. But yeah, once again, I think we have to consider that our opinion about music is ours, and you got the right to say it if you want to. But T-Pain a whole asshole for saying it, right? Like, the conversation, it was centered around, well, Pac had all these platforms and he was only able to do what he was doing then because all of the platforms of UMTV Raps and all this kind of stuff. I mean, come on, man. We live in the era where if you got a computer, a laptop, or even an iPhone, and you're not a huge garage band, you can go platinum tonight if you put it on the right YouTube page or the right Facebook page. So don't talk about platform. Like, that's an asinine conversation. It's in the People's News Network. You can go and watch the interview. It's
for sure.
Yeah. They're having a conversation about hip hop, and then he just, for some reason, he comes out of the blue. And even DJ Academics was like, "What? What are you talking about?" To me, it's like,
he had to get that off his chest. He been feeling that way for a while.
Right.
He was like, in a matter of fact, Tupac ain't even good.
Right, or he's trying to get some views. Like, so I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say some shit about Tupac. That's how you get. To me, this is like somebody comes to me saying, "Man, if Martin Luther King was alive today, he wouldn't be nowhere close to the leader that Farrakhan or Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton is. He wouldn't even be that great. He'd be getting outdone by them at every turn." Like, really? That's where your mind at. If he was alive today, you know
the
that
Boondocks episode.
he wouldn't nowhere near as lyrical as Mr. Farrakhan. Like this is a fruitless comparison. Like why are we like why would we compare Kendrick Lamar to Tupac? You
Because he got
can't
hot flow.
because of Tupac. Kendrick Lamar is allowed to be who he is. That stage from the West Coast to have somebody that people do listen to wasn't there before Tupac because the East Coast was busy shitting on the West Coast and the South. Oh,
And, you know, it was
not real hip hop B. That's not real hip hop. That's
and
what
it
they
was
were
because of Two Live Crew that a lot of motherfuckers can say what they say on the on their records and on their stages and stuff. Because
yeah, that's true. But I mean, I have to say, Two Live Crew music was garbage.
it was, but the freedom of speech that Luke fought for,
Right.
you know, because they was at their head, man. I was watching a documentary about that, and I was like, damn, I did not realize that they had to pave the way for people to even be able to say what they want to say on wax.
But their case is set the precedence for how you know freedom of speech and all that. But come on, man, like. You want to say on one hand, yeah, you got the right to say what you want to say, but if you listen to something now, Miami people would shoot at me for saying that shit. They'd be like, "What the fuck is you, Luke better than Pac, boy? What you talking about?
Pop that coochie."
Yeah, and you ain't never heard Doodoo Brown, man. Come on, man, that's classic.
Banned in the USA, shit.
And he just did an interview with Tariq Nasheed last week on Spotify. Yeah, Luther Campbell. I listen to Brother Marquise. I'm telling y'all, I be on YouTube way more than I'm on TV. Like
that's all I watch.
I'm on YouTube.
Lectures and documentaries.
Come on, man. So yeah, man, we know T-Pain get the Bozak for that, right?
The Bozak.
Yeah,
the gas face.
We used to say back in the day, get the Bozak, right? The duck sick, man. Earl Henry said too short, bitch. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean,
you know, it's commendable that Too Short lasted as long as he did, and he'll even tell you like he keep his lyrics simple, but he just too short.
Yeah, ain't nobody never saying Short was the best lyrical anything. The only thing Short is a genius at is
he got the longevity though.
There's a lot of social commentary and a lot of Too Short's best work, right? Like, because you get what's my favorite word and all that, but the ghetto is one of the most, especially for what was going on at that time. That shit's socially relevant as a motherfucker. Got social commentary all over it. He got a bunch of songs like that. Money in the Ghetto, stuff like that.
Yeah, he do. One of my all-time favorites of Too Short is that Getting It when we thought he was gonna retire.
Come on,
for the last album, that came out with 20 more albums.
10. Album number 10, Getting It, right? Courtney, like, what the fuck?
Should be getting it while getting it.
And he was dropping game in that motherfucker.
Yeah, he dropped some jewels, man. That could be another reason why he lasted, man.
What kind of game was he dropping?
Man, shit. You gotta go back and listen.
It's send your kids to private school,
getting your shit together, and getting on your shit. You know what I mean? If you're gonna rap. If you're gonna shoot the basketball, shoot whatever it is, get on your shit.
Damn, I'm gonna have to send you some
get it while the getting is good.
Yeah, I need all the lists.
The Too Short list, the E40 and the Click list.
Too Short on every album. Half of his album was pretty much positive.
He had some spots on there where, he would have some spots where he would go in, like, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's what's up, Too Short." And then it'd be some shit where you'd be like, "What did he say?"
Like, please, Too Short. You know, you dropping dimes on Life is Too Short.
Now, in terms of Kendrick Lamar, I will say this: I listened to this latest album, this Big Steppers album, and at first I was kind of like, okay, whatever, like, you know. But then some of the songs have been playing over and over, and I said, okay, I get it now. I get it. It's okay. That's kind of slick. So we'll talk about.
He's a man now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see that kind of shit. I'm not really trying to hear that.
I know you not care. I know that was some shit that you was like, what?
Right. He made a what? His uncle. What the fuck? What are you talking about, bro? You know, that's his reality. That's his reality. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, for me, that's go to the next song type. I'm good, bro. But no, some of the shit, I mean, I get his purpose in rap. I know he's like, I don't want to be standard. I don't want to be status quo. I don't want to be, you know, my time, when I got my time, I wanted to mean something. So I'm saying and doing a lot of things that have artistic value. I get it. I get it. I'm telling y'all right now, for me, the person who should be getting a Grammy and all the awards, rap awards for this whole year is Sugar Free. I'm telling you, because Sugar Free was so far ahead of his time, his style today is killing youngsters. Now, I posted this song by Glasses Malone called Kanye Should Have Never Married That Bitch. That was just released. Sugar Free, come on, man. Exercise makes you look better, and so does tequila. It's like this dude, and I'm not even hitting the line like he said it. Like, you gotta go, and he got a bunch of songs, man, that he's released over the last year where you like, dude, this dude is crazy,
Yeah,
man.
he be talking that shit.
Come on, man. I'm talking, but it make what he's saying. There's sense to it. It's, you might think he just said no. He's
This
telling
old
you,
nigga.
man.
Man,
The truth.
yeah.
Oh my God, he'll tell you, Sugar, yeah, he'll tell
Yeah.
you. Sugar Free is ridiculous. He said he's a highly respected OG. Shout out to Larry Purdue. That's my co-host from the Big Black Sports Show. We'll be back, Tank. We'll be back. He said, yeah, he is. He's very very well respected in Cali. I just seen the show that Whack 100 was supposed to have gotten beat up at the game show. He brought Sugar Free out. The game brought him out and just had him. This dude, man, I'm telling you, you just gotta listen to him. If you can go into People's News Network or go on my personal page and just listen at that song that Glasses Malone, once again, you're gonna listen at this. It's called Kanye Should Have Never Married That Bitch.
I'm gonna mute this.
Okay. Sugar Free snaps on there. I'm telling you. He's got the second verse. He's ridiculous. So yeah, man. But no, you know what? And so we've been talking about hip hop. It's still Outlaw Radio Testify. We all started the show out by giving our personal testimonies, just being able to articulate the things we've overcome, the challenges that we face, and like being able to look at somebody else who may be going through it and say, hey man, this might work for you, but this is what helped me. Like, this is the direction that I went in, right? Like, and I was up against this, or I was up against that. We need to be able to do that for each other, because
Right.
and this is funny. And I don't want to come against like therapy for people. So I have a therapist, Kev, and I don't want to go against that, right? And some people need it, but I think if we talk to each other and we're able to relate to each other more, and just have some place where we can go and sit down and somebody, elder, or there was a group of people that you can. I'm troubled in a community where you can go and just be somebody there and say, I just want to talk, man. I'm on the edge of doing this. I'm on the edge of doing that. And we had people in there who said, okay, brother, that's what you're dealing with. The first thing I'm going to do is refer you to all of the relevant services that you need. Right. And then you can come back and we can talk man to man about how you're feeling and what you're going through. I know there's no place like that in the community, but there needs to be. The one thing that I did get accomplished when I was with the Black Panthers is we got the law passed by the county to transform park pavilions in underserved neighborhoods into community restoration centers. And I got the write up right now. I share it every now and then because the county they passed it. They voted on it. We just never ended up doing it. We did one resource fair in Lincoln Park in the Blast Pavilion, and we didn't continue because they didn't want to put no money behind it. But it's a law on the books right now. So that's funny when I hear DC Crowley talking about let's give some of the COVID money to the suburbs so they can get low income housing instead of going back to saying, hey, no, let's put about $2 million behind that because that's still on the books. Let's go into these parks and transform these park pavilions and serve the neighborhoods. Like, to me, that's why I say, and I guess my reaction to that was a little like, I was like, what the fuck? So, because that's what I'm saying. What are you doing with the money? There's things that we could still be doing in this community. And you want to go and build affordable housing in Waukesha or Kenosha or some shit like that, where it's stupid. It's very backwards to me. But so yeah, but we got more information on this El Rey thing because we didn't know a lot of the details when we discussed it the other night. And so I went back because I didn't even know his name. I just knew it sounded Hispanic, and the racist in me, because of his name, the racist in me said, "Oh no, like that, yeah, he got to be from the South Side." And I don't know that he was because they said he was hooked to the Buffum Boys. His name is Luis Lorenzo, Luis Lorenzo. And I guess he was already wanted he was running from a federal drug indictment. Like he had pled guilty already, and he was on the run from the law, and he was wanted. His family said that he suffered from mental health issues, depression and anxiety, and that he often frequented this El Rey, and that when he went in there, he was profiled because he had a backpack and a mask on. They suspected him of stealing, removed him from the store, escorted him out the store. There was an altercation. Now, what actually happened was he pulled his gun out and shot one security guard, and the other security guard shot and killed him. So we didn't even, I don't know if I got that point across that he's gone too. But the fact of the matter is when the family was saying we think he was profiled unjustifiably and he had mental health issues, and then it was like, well, yeah, he was on the run from a federal drug warrant. Like this dude was really a street dude, right? And so I
since 2021, yeah, February.
Well, that don't justify him being killed, and I don't want people to understand that. But I'm saying, like, don't portray him as like, oh, he would never. He probably ain't had no gun, man. Dude, I mean, oh shit. Like, my baby ain't never hurt nobody.
And he still got shot at Baby's park.
Hey, but that's what families always do, man. That's fucked up in our community too. You know what I mean? We know our families be fucked up like that, but we let them do this shit and we just enable them. You know what I mean? And then when they get caught up, oh, free so-and-so, free so-and-so. Well, they didn't deserve that. But they was out here being a fucking terrorist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying he was. I ain't saying that. I'm just talking about what happens in the community a lot.
Right, in general.
Like, remember we was talking about that news clip about the dude that was robbing the Dollar General and one of the employees shot. Right. And then his brother and sister bring their dumb ass on TV talking about, I know he was robbing them and all, but they still shouldn't have shot him. Gotta stop doing that shit, man.
You're enablers. Yes.
Gotta stop doing that shit.
Sharon Evans, she said ski mask. Yes, he had on a ski mask, right? With a gun in a bag, and a backpack. You know what I'm saying? So listen, once again, the story shouldn't have ever even been about where he was from, or what race he was, or what gang he was in. The story should have been about the fact that two brothers are dead. I mean, two people are dead, families both shattered. Whether it was the good guy, the bad guy, however you look at it, that was the point of the story. We kind of went on this about who was who because like I said, Joseph Walker had made a comment about Northsiders don't come over on the South Side, and this was in the People's News Network. Northsiders don't come over on the South Side with y'all bullshit. We over here trying to work, and I was like, whoa, that was a little moist with racism a little bit.
Hey, maybe he had it fucked up, and the dude was from the South Side.
Say that again.
I said maybe he had it fucked up when he made that dumbass statement, and the dude was really from the South Side.
Right.
Yeah, but I guess the connection was
like that maybe he opened his. I'm saying like maybe he opened his dumbass mouth before he got the facts.
I don't know. I'd rather have.
Was he referring to the? Was he referring to the Buffum dude being from the North Side coming with foolishness? Because if he was referring to the Hispanic North Side guy, coming to the South Side.
Right.
There was no clarity to his statement.
That's why I say, like, I just think he opened his mouth before he really got any kind of facts.
It happens. I was trying to explain to people why we are going back, kind of retracing it, because we had this discussion. If you listen to the show the other night, we talked about this El Rey murder. Earl Henning says we need to help our family grow with help to do good in his life. Yes, we do. And that's what I'm saying. Like, but we have to create things in the community where somebody can go. And that used to be the church, where when somebody was really down and out, down on their luck, and they was feeling a certain way, they just walked in one night and just sat in the back. And maybe somebody was up speaking, giving a testimony. And they said, man, I was moved by what you said, man. Man, you really? So you went through this too? Yeah, brother, come on in. Get you some coffee, get you a donut, right? And sit on down. Let's talk. You get indoctrinated into the ministry or what have you.
You want some help, man. I don't want no coffee and a donut.
Well, sometimes you might though.
I do. Well, I just want give me the coffee.
Well, I mean, there go black people and shit. I don't want no Dorito. I don't eat Doritos.
Give me some coffee.
Niggas want some help, man. I need a couple of dollars.
The point was that you get comforted. Black people be mad if I have donut. You might as well leave. You done started fighting the church because they offered you a donut.
You know what? People did used to be mad though. Like people used to try to come up to the church I used to go to on a day that wasn't food pantry day. Like they'd come up on Sunday, knowing that people at the church, and they'd be like, "Okay, well, it ain't food pantry day, but we'll tell you what. After church, if you still here, we'll see what we can do."
Yeah,
They
John,
like,
take you down there
we
and
got to
get
sit through church to get some food.
Hell yeah.
well
Get this
free.
message.
Right.
Oh man, it's like I say, man. Call in with your testimony, man. Hit us up in the chat room. I've overcome a lot. Like I can't even, and it ain't even about bragging on myself. And once again, I've had so many conversations with Kamar that where it was a jewel exchange, and I probably didn't acknowledge it because I'd be like, I ain't sweating nobody. You ain't Gandhi, motherfucker. But he's like, it's been times when I've been saying, well, I don't want. He say, no, Kev, you did this or you did that. You should be happy. You should be proud. And I'd be like, no, fuck that. No. He'd be like, no, it is. What are you talking about? Why are you just missing it? It's okay. That's okay for you to say that. It's okay for you to realize that. So I'm saying, man, you talking about? I got so many stories. I really just need to write this book.
Tell us one, Kev.
Look, I could tell you this. I tore my ACL in a bowl game my freshman year in college on turf. I tore it in half, right? And in those days, if you had that injury, you wasn't sporting no more. Your computer wouldn't be puting no more.
Right.
I came back from that shit in 6 months and started the next year as a sophomore and was defensive player of the year, and then went on to another school and kept playing. Right? Like, so I dropped out of school. I went to Eastern Illinois. I didn't like how the football thing was going. I dropped out. I was out 10 months. A couple schools found out I was at the crib. Next thing I know, it was plane tickets on the table and a scholarship. I was up out of here.
Kev, you know what that is?
That's God.
It's growth and development. They may want to throw my fingers up. You know what it may want to do. It's growth and development, Kev.
Well, there's a G and a D, but you missing the O, right? You missing the O. Right? Wrong two D's, right? Right. I'm just saying. So it's and that's just one of many. It's come on, man. I've literally been standing on the corner with a, like they say, a pocket full of stones, doing what we do, and really had no reason to even be out there, just because I'm just out here, and walk away, and 5 minutes later, everybody on the corner go to jail. It was some just walk away. I just walk off and get to the other end. Like, God damn, I was just standing there, and it's like, I wasn't police. I don't know you named the show Testify, motherfucker.
Where we going with this, Cam? Where we going with this, man?
Right. What you saying, bro? You gave him the signal? Nah, man. Look. Seriously, I went away to school one time and some said leave early. I left in May. When I came home 2-3 months later, it was like 5 homies from the neighborhood that had gotten murdered. And one of them, and it started right after I left. Like my brother would call me like, hey man, ain't your guy? Yeah, man, dude got killed the other day. Like, what? So once again, I've just been maneuvered and placed and put in situations. Wasn't because I was a genius. Wasn't because I was so smart. It was just like, man. And that's part of my testimony to people. The one thing I never did is give up. I kept saying, it's all right. I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna figure this shit out. I'll be okay. And so that testimony for some people, it resonates with them. They'll say, God damn, I didn't know you went through all that shit. Like, yeah, and many more, right? Like, I've been at clubs fighting bouncers, nose broke, 15 stitches in my head, just getting down, man. It's 9 against 1. I never even touched the ground. And I ain't saying that to say, oh, I'm so tough. I'm saying no. When I say I got an incredible testimony of just being taken care of by God. So I ain't ashamed of that. I tell people that all the time, man. I done ducked some bullets, man. Like literally, like what the fuck was that? That was a 38. Like I'm for real. So, and we all have those stories, right? Like I would think we do. Once again, I talked about the importance of being able to articulate them, right? Because what lesson did I learn from some of this shit? Oh, I learned some important lessons, right? Don't drink Long Islands and argue with bouncers. Very important lesson. Never have done it. Right? Like, so don't hang out at Atkinson at 2 a.m. Like, haven't done it in a long time. So I don't have to keep, I'm not pressing my luck. I get it. Don't be over there, right? So if you want to call in and give yours, all I'm saying is this is the space to do so. It's like a hot yoga studio. You can come in here and release. Don't go to sleep, y'all. Don't go to sleep. Let's talk about Brittany Griner, y'all. We know the WNBA, the basketball player Brittany Griner, who is being detained in Russia because she was caught with some, what was it? Hashish? What was it? It was weed, I guess. I don't know.
Little THC, little cartridges.
Pen. What it, a pen or something?
Yeah.
8 cartridges with some sort of THC derivative in it. She's been in Russia now, I guess about what, 4 or 5 months. I don't know how long. People are starting to kind of get mobilized and say, well, we need to bring her home. And her wife has been very instrumental in like being vocal, and they reaching out to President Biden and all this kind of thing. And LeBron's in trouble now because he said if I was her, I would kind of question like whether I wanted to even live in America. How they gonna leave her over there that long? And people saying, well, if this was LeBron, he would have been back home. And people don't care because it's a lady. My theory is people don't care because it's a lesbian.
Kev, don't nobody.
Hey, you know what I think?
I don't even think it's that. Like, I think, because I feel like if it was me, would nobody get no fuck. I'd just be over there.
Right. You wouldn't have
no
no camera time, nobody bring up your name type shit.
I would just be there.
Go ahead.
Two things. One, she broke the law. Bottom line. Ain't nothing we could do about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? She ain't got no bail. Ain't nothing we could do about that. And then two, listen, man, wait, I'm trying to phrase this right because I don't want it to come out wrong, right?
It's Outlaw Radio.
It's like this. If they would go get LeBron if he was there, right? I would think it would be because they losing a lot of money.
Right, that's what it would be.
You know what I'm saying? And see, Brittany Griner don't sell that many tickets.
Right.
Okay.
So I think if it was an issue like that, that's why it would happen. I ain't saying that's what's happening, but I'm just thinking if it was that issue, you know what I mean? Maybe they don't want to go get her because she ain't worth that much to the country.
Right. I still think
the same way, man. Fuck
I still
that.
think they don't care about her because she's a lesbian. I don't think they can, because listen, you talking about a lesbian, like there's no femininity to, like if this was an average woman, I disagree when y'all saying if it was me, you know, if you was just a regular average citizen and you was over there being detained, I think it would be more of an outcry to bring you home. But when we look at her, like so any news that comes along in regards to lesbians or like gay men, like what's going on with them, I'm gonna tell the truth and say I don't react to it. I'm not like, oh, you know, I'll be like, oh well, that's just their business. And so I feel like a lot of us haven't made an outcry because they be like, oh man, you talking about the lesbian, the dyke chick? Oh no, man, who cares? Like she ain't like she in the NBA, like Kamar said, it ain't like she. Because the WNBA, come on, man, they have struggled for years because low ratings, low attendance. They just don't. One of their highest salaries now maybe like $300,000. These brothers in the NBA getting $40 million a year, right? So you damn right if LeBron removes a piece of the economy with him if he's over there. Like, hold on, man, what the fuck? Nike be on board. Everybody like, hey man, we got shoes sitting in the warehouse, man. So yeah, so when I say, because who's a premier female athlete that sells apparel, and you say Serena Williams, right? You say Serena Williams, but Serena Williams is not a lesbian.
Do she sell that much apparel?
She sells a lot. Serena Williams sells a lot. Now she's a bed wench, but she's not a lesbian. Fuck it, man. When you going down, just go down. Like don't even try to brace yourself. Just fall.
Take a brick with you. Put a brick in your pocket.
Sherry Evans says she gave up her citizenship prior to this. Also, her wife initially said it's a personal matter. Yeah.
Well, shit. Well, hell. Shit, hell.
See, when people say her wife, what's going on here?
See, I don't think it's because she a lesbian. Because honestly, shit, it seems like they got international pull.
Yeah,
Like
they
I
got,
wouldn't.
Like they don't.
I would
Like
think
they
they.
don't.
Man,
Still
shit.
for it doing.
It
the
seemed like
plug.
they done pretty much been able to stop anything. The only motherfucker that done defeated them so far has been Dave Chappelle. Like if
Yeah,
he
they can't fuck with Dave.
Dave Chappelle, we got to protect that man. He
They
done
can't
beat
fuck with
fucking
Dave, man.
Viacom or whoever he was in beef with. He done beat the LGs and whatever and a broadcasting company. So man, we gotta protect that dude. But I honestly think she would have more pull because she's a part of that community versus her being forgot. I think she being forgot because, well, not even forgot, but I think, like you said, Kamar, it's the money. Like she's not. But if it was me or somebody else, nobody would even know. It'll just be like, damn, we're real. Here's some Mexican
Right.
jail somewhere. Like we wouldn't nobody know, but at least because
Shit, hey,
she's a
they wouldn't
sports,
know.
right?
Sharon Evans says, but Serena has dual citizenship. That's what I said. I thought she was. I said bad wench. I should have said dual
Ain't nothing we
citizenship.
can do about it.
But no. And I see this is where once again, if you're stuck over there and your family goes to the embassy and you get some reporters on it, it's gonna be a big stink about it. But it all comes down to what Kamar said. You broke the law though. You don't get no pass because you listen. I'm gonna tell y'all something else while y'all
I
talking
don't think
about.
they'd have went and got LeBron.
I think some negotiations would have been made for LeBron to get brought home. I really do. And hold on, Kamar. So I hear what y'all saying about the lesbian thing, but I'm here to tell you, and I'm gonna say this, and it might be right, it might be wrong, right? Like I don't know. I don't think there's any really openly friendly country in terms of gay people besides France. And I'm saying that without ever have been to France. But I just feel like gay is like embraced in France. And that's just how my non-traveled ass thinks, right? Other countries, it's hard on a gay person. In America, we're the only one that's really, really, and maybe Canada, where we're really like, yay, gay people, go ahead. Y'all do it. Y'all can be in the bathroom. Other countries, they be like, don't you take your ass in that bathroom. You better go in that other bathroom. What you do? What? So, and people say, Kev, you don't know what you're talking about. You've never been to Europe. What? I know. And so if you know better, correct. Like I said, man, jump. Shit. You're standing there for it. Just jump. Right. So no, we're overly, we are very homosexual friendly over here. We are. America has transformed itself into a very gay friendly place. People say it's still hostility. Yeah, but it's way less than it used to be.
America is gay.
There's a lot of Polaroids of people in high places that brought this current culture about of the passivity. Yeah. It's a lot of people still in office and shit that got wives that can't afford to be outed.
Starting with Gay Edgar Hoover, who had
right
photos of, and you got to think about how
nets.
evil he was. He actually allowed the mob and the mafia to exist, but he went after black power groups. That's how evil he was. It's okay for y'all to mob and be La Cosa Nostra. You better not be talking about some black power. We're gonna blow your fucking house up and then blame it on somebody else and get away with this shit. That's how evil he was. And they have his name on the building. Like, you hear this is how you know that cancel shit is fake. Because you hear them talking about canceling everybody, but not one person has said, why the fuck we ain't canceling J. Edgar Hoover? For just his attitude towards black people alone. When you find out how he framed Marcus Garvey, when you find out how he tried to get Adam Clayton Powell, when you find out how he was instrumental in what happened to Malcolm and Martin and all these people, when you find out about all this stuff, and you say we ain't canceling him, right? You this is ass backwards. So, but back to what I was saying about the lesbianism. See, over there, they probably don't bar that shit. Like, they're Russian dudes, even though they women be looking like dudes. They don't. That's why they
think it's wrong. That's why you
right.
think it's bad.
Like, just saying. Like, some of them East German women, boy, they be rough. How you doing? I'm good, baby. I'm straight. I'm finna leave. I'm on my way out the door. Like, just, and I know they'd be mad about this shit too.
They probably think Brittany normal.
Right. She's just woman to us, right? Just woman. I voice deep does not matter. Does not matter. That is the most horrible Russian accent ever.
That sounds like Brigitte Nielsen on Rocky and shit.
Come with me if you want to live.
What was that movie dude played in? Adam Sandler. What the fuck? That one when he was cutting hair. That's what you said. Was it Zoolander? No.
I've never seen. See, that looked a
I think
little.
that was Zoolander.
Well, he was
Zoolander
cutting hair.
looked a
That's exactly how he was
zesty.
talking.
It looked a little zesty to me. I never watched it. I don't. If something looks zesty, I usually don't watch it.
Yeah, you know the white folks. They always be zesty in their shit. Always.
All right. Sharon Evans said, "Right, don't mess with the yags or the wedges. Those are spelled backwards, so I don't." And you're a very smart individual because you know not.
Right,
to put
he's
the
not
word-
over here like what the yags.
Yeah.
Shit,
He was like, what?
the wedges hopped on Nick Cannon's ass. It had him taking
Sorry.
had him taking cultural sensitivity classes and shit.
Even though Nick didn't own the show, we found out quick. Nick don't even own it. How you gonna fire me for my own shit? Well, you don't own it. Guess who owns it? Them people who you just insulted. So,
right, but with the truth. That's the shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I understand even with our discussion about Joe Walker, with what he may have said about the El Rey thing. It's if you stepped in it, you stepped in it. It is what it is, man. I ain't scared. I don't be scared to say some dumb shit sometimes. Sometimes it just make you feel good. Like when I said gay people ain't accepted nowhere but America and France. I know how asinine that statement was, but it still feel good to say it. I still feel cool. Yeah, they gay, like, you know, because in Jamaica they don't fuck around with that shit. In Mexico ain't really gay friendly. Like other countries, people still be like, maybe in China or Asia, I don't know. But in other countries, people still be like, man, I don't want nobody to know this shit. I'm gonna get fucked up. In America, it'd be like, no.
Yeah, because they more spiritual in other countries.
Is that what it is?
There ain't no spiritual practice.
Okay. I still think, like, I'm glad everybody gay their opinion. I still think they leaving her over there because she a lesbian. I really do. I just think that don't nobody care. Like people just be like, oh no. It's sad that it's like that. That people, we are very judgmental like that, right? Like, cause
Kev, she broke the law, man.
No, I don't care about that. I'm saying how she did break the law, but nobody's okay. So if this was Simone Biles, we'd be like, oh no, man, that's messed up. They got to bring that sister home, and
that's all we
would
say, Kev. That would be it. Just like this.
Not if she had a marijuana cartridge on her coming out of Russia.
We would say that, and then that would be it.
I would still
if she had a marijuana cartridge coming out of Russia on her, we'd be saying, well, she broke the law.
So you fuck that thing.
And then being the motherfucking star, like Kev, I'm the average person, and I knew damn well not to take no shit with me when leaving the country. I'm not gonna play them games. And that's what the fuck you finna do? Nigga, no.
Sharon Evans said Native Americans don't get down like that either. I haven't been around a whole bunch of them, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I went to a party in North Dakota one time, and the Native American guy told a white dude he didn't want no niggers in his house. Yeah, he said that. I just so happened to see him when he said it, right? Like, and I was there with one of my partners. Shout out to Tony Spencer, who's from here. He went to Tech, and we were in North Dakota together. And I told him, I said, Tony, like, this dude just said he didn't want no niggas in his house, and he was like, what? And he asked him, and he told me, he said, yeah, man, you know how it go. Like, some black people don't like us Indians, and some Indians don't like black people. And I turned around, and they had a Confederate flag on the wall. And he had like a little leather Confederate flag hat. But I said, dude, the people who you partying with is the motherfuckers you should be mad at. And
how did he look?
He looked like a Native American. He had long hair. Yeah.
Oh, okay, because he could have been a $5 Indian. Those really white people who paid to get listed as Indians.
Right.
He was. You can see it.
Well, hey, I'm gonna tell you, man. You know what I mean? It's an issue with for some reason with these natives, man. You know, you go.
With everybody, like
you going on a Oneida reservation up there by Green Bay.
Yeah.
Dog, you can't go out there hanging out and shit, going to their bar and getting drunk. They're gonna beat the fuck out you.
Yeah.
I mean, and the crazy thing is, most other fucking cultures, they all been told, they all be like, yeah, I might be this, but at least I'm not a nigga. Like, I've come across Indians, the gas station Indians, Mexicans. I've come across motherfuckers that don't like black people that were darker than me. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? There's Mexicans darker than me. There's Indians darker than me.
I talked to
But-
some Africans who don't like black people in America. So
yeah, for sure.
Hey, that be them Africans that be coming over here looking for white women.
I can tell you this dude, he was a Native American, but when I say I slapped the shit out of him, I'm talking about I slapped him so hard his hat came off and his hair was in a ponytail. It came down. That's how I know he was real, because his hair was on his shoulders. I pulled back from Atkinson and I was all the way in North Dakota.
And that's exactly why he didn't want you in his house, because this is what niggas do.
And I did more. After that. I did more. I'm not gonna tell the whole story. I'm just gonna end it by saying ultimately because I had a knee injury at the time and I was in the midst of like really tearing up the house and ended up like trying to throw something through the window and fell face down in the snow and couldn't get up. God don't like ugly.
Get your ass up.
I couldn't get up. My partner had to come and pick me up. Like, dude, is you done yet? Like, dude, you've been on like a 30-minute rampage and you forgot you only got one leg. I'm like, man, I was so cold. I had snow. It was crazy. But yeah, so that was my ending.
Your ass did this. Leave that nigga out there.
This is exactly what the fuck I meant.
I was with the homie, man. I was with the homie. No. I was with Self. And them. Self and them look out for me. He's like, hey, on the fire, you good? I'm good, Tone. He helped me up. Like, I said, man, y'all some good dudes, man. Y'all are, man. Vice Lord dudes, good dudes, man. Yeah, that's my man. But that was my Indian story. I know it didn't have shit to do with nothing. Look, here's the thing, because we talk about politics on the show too. And another thing that we touched on the other night was this discussion about black people really understanding that both parts of this political system that we invest in is bullshit, right? When it comes to black people, right? And I know my sister Beverly Williams was upset about Cube saying that both of these parties is shit, and she felt like that it encouraged black people not to vote. I would never say that. I would say become an informed voter. But here's the shit that makes me say politics is full of shit. Because
I'm riding with Cube.
Right, of course, we always team O'Shea all day, right? We already know that. But you see that the Supreme Court in Wisconsin passed a law, right? This majority Republican conservative Supreme Court. And I keep telling y'all about these judges that we're learning this from Roe versus Wade. Now we got to put the target on these judges, because now you're starting to see who's really driving the car in terms of making up laws and rules in this country. But they have said that drop boxes for absentee voters will be illegal in the next election, right? But the coincidence is that in the last election, 2020, 40% of the votes came from absentee drop boxes. And we know in Wisconsin what happened with the absentee votes once they were counted in Milwaukee County. What happened? Evers took over for Skippy Walker. Skippy Walker ass was up out of there. And a lot of people say Biden's election, his victory over Trump, over the Golden Tangerine, was because of absentee black voters. So when you say 40% of those votes, now you can't have an absentee voter drop box. So it's a direct attack on, well, we're gonna rig the election, right? We're gonna make sure that they don't have no voice. Because if that's what tilted the power, that's why I said to black people, pay attention to what we just did. Look what we just did in Milwaukee. That's why we got all black everything right now. I'm not, whether or not it's working the way it should, that's a whole different show.
All right.
But the fact that we got it done because we voted. And I know people say voter turnout was low and nobody wanted to vote for Peeping Bob Donovan, Peeping Tom Bob Donovan, whatever. That's why I say stop telling people, oh man, that ain't nothing, and let that person testify. Let them get a testimony and talk about what they did. Stop telling people, oh, well, that ain't shit, right? Because you can't figure out what's good in your life. I know I be all kinds of different places, right? I be having schisms.
It's all right.
It's all good.
That's how them pastors be. It's in you. That's what they be doing.
Oh yeah, what about the Creflo Dollar shit?
Yeah. I went to his church one time, Kevin. That's all that nigga talked about was money. And now you talking about don't tithe? Man, that nigga only talked about money. That's the first time I saw the ATM in the church. Creflo.
Sharon Evans said, "Still we rise," and she said he thought I was gonna drink up all his liquor. They didn't have a whole lot of liquor left when I left the party. because I broke all that shit in the kitchen, everything.
All of his fire water.
Man, I tell that motherfucker. Hey, I'm like,
Fucked
I
up
always
all his
ask
fire
myself,
water.
this how I know God was good, because I'm like, how all them white boys didn't jump me? I mean, I was acting a donkey, man. Like I
How they ain't
fucked
jump
the
me
whole
here?
party up, man. Like, damn, who let dude in? Like, what the fuck? What happened? So, but no, talk about that, because we'll get back to the voter drop boxes. I'm glad Rail is here. The Creflo Dollar thing, because there's something biblical behind this, that Brother Jay, who used to be on the show, used to talk about tithing not being a biblical requirement. The way it's explained to most people would say give 12%. Talk about this thing. Why did Creflo Dollar switch up on this?
I don't know why he came to light with it. It was something that used to get me in the beef with pastors all the time, because I'm a studier. It tell you to be like the Bereans, study the word. And as you study, tithe means tenth. But tithe was never money, because back when they gave tithes, that was because the Levitical priests, their duty was to the church or the temple all day, so they couldn't grow crops or go get a job. So they survived off of people giving a tenth of whatever they had. I mean, you was bringing cattle, crops and shit like that. But if you were traveling a long distance and you didn't want to carry all that shit with you, you would sell it and just take the money that you got for it to the temple. But that was like, there was tithes, and then there was offerings, but then there was even first fruits. So motherfuckers was getting back in the church, by preaching that Malachi. How do you rob God in tithes and offerings? Try me and see how I will feel all that shit. But
And I feel like
yeah,
I always felt, because of that, I always felt like tithing wasn't really meant for the churches either. I felt like, you know what I mean, you're supposed to give back. You're supposed to, you know what I mean? Just say, like, if I was a tree, what I give back is oxygen. You know what I mean? So what I do is I help my people. You know what I mean? I do something to bless somebody. You know what I mean? This is where the tithing come in at. And the universe keep into you. You know what I mean? Because you passing a blessing. You passing blessings on. You doing the universe work. So the universe gonna make sure you good. That's what tithing is all about.
Right.
I feel like he talked about something that this is an Old Testament kind of doctrine that people have been. Now, here's the deal. If you've been to church, if you're a person who's religious and like, or Christianity or Christian, there is the Old Testament, there's the New Testament. And a lot of people don't understand certain things they came to be in the Old Testament. Now, Rail, correct me if I'm wrong here.
For sure.
The Old Testament ended with the earth being flooded, correctly, and Jesus dying.
Nah, so the Old Testament was okay. So it said, well, Jesus said he didn't come to destroy the law; he came to fulfill it. Okay. But they were saying that it was fulfilled when he was crucified, and that's the symbolic. Okay. The veil was tore and all that shit, because back in the day, there was the priest and there was the prophet. The priest spoke to God on behalf of the people. The prophet spoke to the people on behalf of God. So they say when Jesus was crucified, you became your own priest and prophet. So the veil was torn, because now you ain't gotta do that fucking pilgrimage with cattle to have them kill a dove because you lied type shit, or a ram because you fucked off on your wife. It was all kind of bullshit back then, man. But so with that, they say we're under the dispensation of grace, meaning that all the Old Testament shit, as far as swine, shrimp, not wearing clothes of diverse fabrics, and that used to be the funny shit, when people always try to tell you in sin, but they wearing poly cotton blends and shit, and it's like, okay, according to Leviticus, you fucking up too, G.
Right.
But all that was supposedly fulfilled when Jesus was crucified, and we were under the dispensation of grace, where tithes, first fruits, and offerings have no more need. But I mean, universal law is give and it shall be given back to you. That's just the universal law. But as far as tithes and shit, fuck it.
So, and this is why so many people like get confused and thrown off by the discussion about Christianity and stuff like this, because they don't understand that there's an Old Testament and a New Testament. They don't understand what's in the New Testament versus the, like, if they say you steal something, cut their hand off. I believe that's an Old Testament kind of thing, right? Like, so Jesus supposedly died for our sins, so we could be forgiven when we sin. I thought so. You don't get your hand chopped off. You just say, "God, forgive me for sinning," and you good. I thought that's the way it was. Once again,
and that's how it's supposed. You know that sin you that death you were supposed to die. He died on the cross for you.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, that is the the basis of it.
Okay, now it's time to pass the Cash App. Y'all pass that around. We like the kind of money that jingle, but we love the kind that fold.
That's right.
Right. I want everybody in the sanctuary to match this 100 right here.
Right. These are conversations that we
having
these conversations, right? We having these conversations, but a lot of us, we don't know. So you're easily led astray when you're not fully informed, is what I'm saying, I guess. And so, because once again, I stand on it. I truly believe that our community could benefit from more spirituality. If that's people going to church more and getting connected with God, or getting connected with Jesus, or Christianity, or Islam, or Buddhism, whatever it is, I feel like we would benefit as a community if that started to happen more. More people have run out of faith now than ever. You got people out here right now, you could tell by the way they live their life. They ain't holding on for a better day. They're like, this might be my last day.
I honestly think that, and this is just me. So this is the views are real, do not reflect the view. But I think that was one of our downfalls, man, because I like, and I mean, no, if church helped you be a better person, then do your thing. But as for me, it benefited me way more when I connected with myself, learned myself, healed myself, and started doing things for myself, understanding that the God or the universal force that wakes me up every morning did everything I needed it to do when I woke up this morning in my right mind with the activities of my limbs. So I think, as far as us, a lot of times our community, how one way church fucks us up is because it takes us out the equation. They sitting on the sideline waiting for the sky to crack and somebody do everything they know they should be doing. Or when they fall short or fuck up, they can blame it on the devil. So it removes responsibility and accountability for you to be the master and responsible of your own fate, understanding that your breath is your blessing. And if you got breath in your life and in your right mind and could get out the bed unassisted, the rest of that shit is on you. So I think people would benefit if they learn how to connect with themselves enough to heal themselves so that they can love themselves and do everything they know they need to be doing for themselves.
Okay.
Say that shit real.
Okay. Once again, you are anybody out there, however you feel, call in. Put in the chat room 262-202 Outlaw Radio on the Monday night, 262-202-5131. It's Testify tonight, right? And people say, "Oh, they on some church stuff." Well, if that's what you want to label it, that's fine. It don't bother me really. It really don't. I don't. And I think, like I said, I've seen so many things that I have to say, I accept what my grandmama told me, right?
Right.
And I know what grandmama told me, right? And she could even tell me and sit me down and say, "This is where we come from," right? So this is based on us having faith. This is how we've been able to persevere and know that we're gonna be all right. What they say is gonna get greater later. So I ain't really bugging out because it's raining right now, because eventually it'll stop.
Right, but that's the purpose of faith. Faith is the bridge. It's supposed to get you by until you get the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You go from believing and having faith that you can swim to actually trying to swim, and then you go from believing to knowing to being. And you go from knowing to being. Now you not only know that you can swim, you become a swimmer. So faith has its purpose, and faith got a lot of our grandparents through. But now we have the benefit of having access. Everybody who has a smartphone in their pocket has access to thousands of libraries, thousands of historical texts. Like, one of the things that caused me to study myself out the Bible is because I like to find the origin of shit. Like, I love etymology, so I love to find the origin of words. But I also try to trace God back to his first instance. Who was the first people that wrote about? So when you do that shit, it takes you in a whole nother place where you like, damn, the Garden of Eden story was carved 40,000. Yeah, for sure, fam.
Hey, testimony, my bad, man. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, it's all good. But, you know, when you see that.
Saying, I got a testimony into what you just said. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
When I was born, my mother's side, they was Baptist. You know, my father's side, they was Catholic.
Yeah.
So my whole life, I was searching. At first, I was trying to figure out, well, which one is the right one?
Right.
And then I figured, well, maybe the first one was the right one. So then my whole life, I'm studying, trying to figure out what was the first understanding.
Right. And that's the same thing here, because I grew up Pentecostal, and Pentecostal is like only a step away from apostolic, where it's like, you know, we damn near was raised to, I ain't gonna say look down on other sects of church, but you know, we don't fuck with them Baptists. Well, they ain't even gonna say fuck. We don't mess with them Baptists. Them Baptists go out on Saturday night and go to church on Sunday morning. You know that's what Kojic was.
And the Baptists be like, we don't be jumping around. We don't be hopping and jumping around the church.
Right, talking all that crazy mess and
that religious shit. That's the division. That's the division within religion.
Come on, you got to get it right though. We call them a cult. That's what we would say. They
right.
Sanctified people, they are cult. Them long
sanctified people talking in tongues and laying hands from the Azusa Street revival.
Right. Listen. My wife is Kojic. She's sanctified, right? And so we've had the discussion, and like I said, my father was a preacher. I was a PK, so we've talked about how we looked at each other growing up. Because, like I said, my mama would say, "Them folks ain't nothing but they're a cult. They ain't knock the walls of hell over. They ain't saved. Look at them with their oil and talking." And you right, looking at us like Pat ain't nothing but a pimp. He knocking everything in the front row down, drinking liquor, smoking. And maybe they was right a little bit. I mean,
the thing is, if we all serving the same God, it shouldn't be no division because we choose to apply it differently. Right. You know what I'm saying? I always looked at it like I grew up on them rickshaw kung fu theaters and shit. And it always made me think of them old kung fu movies where it's like, no, my teacher is the best. My school is the best. My style is. It's like y'all all doing fucking kung fu just because you do tiger and one person do snake.
You know,
that shouldn't be
part of my evolution too. You know what I mean? Like at first, I was into religion. You know what I'm saying? And then
I was being groomed to be a pastor.
Learning different, and then it's like I was banging against religion. But then I get to a point in my spiritual self where I understand where it's like, wait a minute, man. It's all about peace. That shit don't bring no peace. You know what I'm saying? That shit causes chaos. You know what I mean? All that banging on each other and shit. So
separation, fear.
Then I start to understand to let others walk their journey.
Right.
Sharon Evans said, she said, not realizing there's only one church. Sure. That's Sharon Evans. She said, not realizing it's only one church. You know what? What is that church? What's the church?
You know, if it help, and again, that's who I serve: love, understanding, and life. If it ain't promoting unity, love, and life, I don't fuck with it. And there's a lot of things in the Bible that wasn't promoting unity, love, and life when you telling them to kill all the men and women and you can keep the young girls for yourself.
Okay.
That's scripture.
It's funny because once again, in my neighborhood we had Jehovah's Witnesses that would go door to door, and they was the enemy, right? And I'm gonna tell you about
damn.
No, they was because the Jehovah's Witnesses
they were serious too, man.
The ones that lived in my neighborhood, they didn't allow their children to play with us. They didn't.
Nope.
They couldn't even.
Oh yeah,
I,
yeah.
I was actually kind of friends with a dude who was Jehovah's Witness, lived across the street from me. We grew up literally. They lived across the street from me, and me and him was cool. But his mother was always. They was off to them. They didn't really deal with nobody else in the neighborhood. And me and him was just cool. And his mother was always kind of like she wanted to say something, like why you like. But we was little boys. I messed up when I asked his sister to go with me, and then I was
Oh,
banned
shit.
forever. Right? And my mom said you can't be over. Keep in mind, I'm probably 10 years old. We ain't talking about me being a teenager trying to fall through or nothing like that. I'm talking about I was a little boy. I just had a crush on her. Like, hey, would you go with me? She's like, I can't do that. My mama, you ain't even no witness. Like, I'm like, what? What you talking about? Went over there the next time. He's like, my mom said you can't be here. Out, right? And from then on, we just seen each other from across the street. Like, what up?
Damn.
Never socialized with him again. And he grew up and left when he was in his 20s, 30s, just like me. So. But my mama also too would cuss them out when they be on her porch. Get your ass off.
Oh, we talk for hours, man. And they
no, because you old school, and when they say you ain't even supposed to beat them a good day, I'm like, get your ass off my porch. Man, they be like, oh shit. They wouldn't after a while. They just walk past our house.
Yeah,
like, nobody fucking with that.
We be talking for hours. They leave my house looking so confused in their whole foundation of faith.
Right. Yeah.
And they try to hit you with it. Like if you were to die today, do you believe you would go to heaven? Hey man, heaven is a state of mind just like hell. Hell was put in the Bible in the 1600s. Before that, it was no hell. That I hit them with shit like that.
You one of them dudes.
Yeah, man.
Courtney, you should be very happy. I thought you was gonna come into the show this week full of. This has been Black Girl Magic Month. Like, we was talking about who's going to buy the Broncos. The Raiders got a black woman as their president now. There's 2 black women in the ownership of the NFL Broncos, Condoleezza Rice and then the other sister.
Damn, Condoleezza Rice?
Yeah.
In a minute.
Right. She done jumped back into it. She got them, she got them white
Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah,
okay.
She jumped in. And then at the Emmys, the black women got all the nominations.
I don't watch none of that shit.
I don't either. I just seen the shit. I just seen
Thanks for letting me know about that shit. I don't watch none of that shit. Don't know about none of it. But that is what's up.
relevant to me because one of my favorite shows. I ain't gonna lie. I love Abbott Elementary because I think that shit
is hilarious, man.
And that's written and created by a black woman.
By
you gotta watch that. What's that streaming on? You need all types of different networks and shit.
No, that's Hulu. On ABC. It's on. Well, you can get it on Hulu, but it's on
Hulu.
ABC.
I got Hulu. See,
yeah, it's on Hulu.
I can do that.
Yeah, Abbott Elementary's funny as hell. It's Keita Brunson. She got 5 Emmy nominations. I watched the Black Lady sketch show on HBO. Robin Thede. Yeah, Robin Thede, who created that, they got a bunch of Emmy nods. And then another black woman got some Emmy recognition the other night. So. And I should have it down, but I didn't. I quit. I was like, okay, that's enough. But no, black women getting it done, man. Y'all, black women are rising, man. They getting
it done forever, Kev.
Well, not y'all wasn't getting jobs though.
Okay.
Y'all wasn't getting jobs. Y'all been getting it done.
Y'all wasn't getting jobs.
Not like that.
Damn,
She's getting shit. Like they just taking over shit. They running shit. Like black women getting jobs, bro. Like I'm talking about you. What is you? I'm the executive. What is you? I'm a security guard. Exactly. I see you with your flashlight, right? And so they but once again, they've always kind of put y'all ahead of us because y'all ain't as threatening as we are. Like we become such a my God, Jerome. So volatile. Yeah. Nobody offend Hugh Hefner when he comes in today. Okay, we don't want anybody
Niggas be cool and smooth until you do something, get us irritated, agitated, then the nigga come out, then it's like yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know that too.
It's like that.
When you piss her off, hell to take to the captain. Like Laquita's snapping in the lunchroom. Someone ate her hog. Man, fuck this motherfucker, John. You already know. Someone ate her hog head cheese out the refrigerator. She's absolutely.
Don't be like that, Cam. You ain't your damn joke. That's
hilarious. I be on that bullshit. I be telling y'all, man, when you listen to the show, it be getting serious sometimes. Then I just fuck it all up.
I think a lot of that is due to just like Dame Dash said. He was like, we need to start making our own shit And when we start making our own shit, they gonna start elevating us in they shit just to prevent us from coming together. So when I see all this, I think of Dame Dash with the football league and Ice Cube with the basketball league, and now they starting to let a couple ladies get access to some of these teams just to show, like, see, we're changing.
To keep us watching shit. That's what they doing.
I feel like
You know what I mean?
they
You know,
learn
because
from
see
that
what they
shit.
like to do to black people when it's an issue, when something is a big social issue, they throw us a bone. And a lot of us shut the fuck up and chill out and be cool and happy. You know what I mean?
It's just like
Instead
working the
of
warehouse.
pushing forward. So
Go ahead,
what?
Huh?
You was saying something.
I'm saying it's just like when you work in the warehouses, you be complaining about everything, man. Fuck this shit. It's your week, these circumstances. Then they fuck around, buy y'all lunch or something. Type for a little.
Man, fuck that pizza.
Yeah, right. You'll get us some
man,
guys, a little something,
They got you working the fucking mandatory 12 hours.
I let her revolt at my old job over some pizza, dog. I swear I did. Hey, look, we had a safety program where if we went the whole month injury free, they would buy us nuts, right? Well, the shit went on for a while, and what we would do is we would pick what we wanted, and they would buy what we wanted. But then it was going on so long that they just started going to Little Caesars and getting them $5 pieces, right? So we got tired of this shit. I told him, I said, like, man, we don't want no more pizza, man. He was like, well, that's what it is. I said, wait a minute. When it first started, we picked what we wanted. You know what I mean? And we in the meeting. And the motherfucker told me, he said, look, if you guys don't want pizza, bring a lunch. The meeting was over. I went around everybody. I told everybody, look, don't eat that shit. Don't touch that shit. If you got a problem, if you have a problem getting lunch, I'll buy you something. I'll bring you lunch, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't fucking with that pizza. And we ain't fucked with that pizza. The motherfuckers came back. Somebody told them I started the shit, right?
Motherfuckers always be telling me that motherfucker.
Somebody told them I started the shit. But I mean, hey, I kept it real. You know what I mean? I wouldn't tell them. I said, yeah, man, you know what I mean? We don't want no more Little Caesars pizza. This was something that was supposed to be a reward, and now y'all making us take some shit. Right. I don't want that shit.
The great pepperoni revolt.
Shit.
And the third, okay, so I said there was somebody else. Actually, it was the sister who was on the show, Santana Coleman, who was working on the When Claude Got Shot documentary. Kamar, when we had Brother Ajumu and Hila Hood on, and she was on with him, and she was saying she was a filmmaker, and they were getting ready to have this premiere. Their documentary, that's right here in Milwaukee, and she was a part of this, and theirs was for Primetime Exceptional Merit in a documentary. So they got a nomination for an Emmy too. So once again, another black woman winning. Yeah,
and she was on Outlaw Radio.
Right on here. Right, I got to find somewhere and try to dig up. I got to do like DJ Vlad and go find the interview real quick and try to put it up.
Yeah,
get views and shit. Mary McLeod Bethune statue went up in the Capitol building in DC. Okay, I didn't know that. So yeah, once again, Black Girl Magic. I don't even like saying that, even though because it's old, but Black Girl Magic to me is like
we grown as hell, Kel.
Yeah, I know it. Old black, what you say? Oh, I'm going. Corey Holcomb is trying to come out of me right now, y'all. Corey Holcomb is absolutely my goodness, man. Corey Holcomb is something else, man. Have y'all watched Corey?
He's hilarious and he real as fuck. I used to watch I used to watch him when he was a comedian. Him and that Patrice O'Donnell dude that died.
Patrice O'Neal.
Patrice O'Neal. Yeah, that motherfucker was hilarious and real too.
Sure.
Listen, Corey, that dude. I'm talking about like even when the whole DL Hewley thing happened with Monique. Corey Holcomb tore Monique a new one. I'm talking about, and she even said when they asked her, she said, "I'm not saying shit to Corey Holcomb. Corey is no drama over there. This dude, just listen to him. Like, you be like, man, whoa, like, cause, and I see what his attempt is to try and really say the things that need to be said that a lot of people." kind of shy away from. We've gotten to the point where the truth has been diminished because it's really not about telling the truth. It's about making people feel comfortable.
Right.
Right. Like, so the truth, and don't get me wrong, we all have our own truth. Right. And like
people don't even like facts, man. People don't even. I mean,
it's more
truth is subjective. Facts is just what it is. And who they hop on the other day because she said
Macy
motherfuckers
Gray?
that get Macy Gray. That's a fucking fact.
Right.
You can remove shit, add shit. Was you born with nuts or ovaries? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the bottom line. But the people just so pressed. Like right now, the world is so fake that realness upsets people. There's fake asses, fake hair, fake people. So anything real shine the spotlight on their artificialness, and nobody can handle that shit.
Yeah, go listen to Corey Holcomb. I'm telling y'all, if y'all like podcasts, and see, I've been very, very careful over the years with this platform because I didn't want to build a castle on sand. And so what I've always tried to do is stay away from really dissing people, going hard, calling people names, telling the dirt on people, to discussing gossip and shit like that. I always wanted us to talk about real shit. And if it's opinionated, but it ain't about like tearing somebody down or telling them shut your dumb ass up or nothing like that.
Right.
Because you have to be careful what you build and what you build it on. And you look at somebody like Wendy Williams, who for years prided herself on just being the absolute messiest individual, talking about everybody, criticizing people, tearing people down. They got Wendy broke down to the point where she can't even access her own bread. Right? Like she wants to go now because they've given her show to Sherry Shepherd. And so she wants to go now and like even just kind of, I want to share some of my clips from my show. No, we control all that. Wendy, you don't get to do none of that shit. And she was on one of those podcasts. I forget who it was, and he asked her about, I think it was Nori or somebody asked her a question about money, and she said, I only have $2. Because they found a way to keep, like, they cut her off from her money. I don't know if they've been able to give her because they said she was like losing her mind basically. And like they were talking about, she was like getting drunk and coming out naked and just sitting around to a room full of people. She just come out naked and sit down and start playing with herself, talking to them, and like real talk.
Wow.
Yeah,
real, like, that should sound like a good time, bro.
No,
That just sounds just the visual in my head.
Like that shit fucked me up because she kind of like, she looked like E.T. to me with a wig. Like when E.T. had that blonde wig on, like. But I ain't even down in her. I hope she get the healing she need and shit like that. But yeah, that thought popped in my head.
So like if you're in the podverse like myself, you see like Whack 100 who's managed to basically diss everybody. And it's the crazy part is I hope this is just a ploy and a plan. I hope he's involved with these individuals saying, look, we gonna run this game. I hope this ain't real. Like, cause he's got beef with the Crips and Bloods, and he's into it with Jay Prince and GDs. Like, you making enemies everywhere, right? But he is the hottest thing going right now in terms of, you go on YouTube, anything Whack touches is gonna do 1 million views. It just cause people just want to hear him. He be on there talking about random shit now. Elder Barnes was a crackhead. Like, on there talking about like really,
people have found a way to tap into that Kevin Samuels cheat code. They learned that infamy is just as good as fame.
Until it ain't. Until like he was at the Games concert the other night, and some Crip dudes was there and was at his ass. Supposedly, allegedly, I wasn't there. The talk is there was some attempt confrontation. We talk about Crips and Bloods, California Crips and Bloods. We ain't talking about some Crips from Iowa and some Bloods from Nebraska, right? Shout out to all the Crips in Iowa, right? And all the Bloods in Nebraska. Do your thing. But I'm saying this is dangerous. You playing with the streets of Los Angeles for real. Somebody can get hurt. But he's building this platform, but it always comes back to bite you in your ass. I've never seen, like, I listen to Star a lot, right? Like, and Star is probably, in terms of podcasting and doing this, what we do, Star is the shit. Like, Star is like, he knows, but he's built the platform on just being reckless and just being like shitting on people. Then he'll curse you out, whatever. He say whatever about you because he wants that interaction. He'll say, I want to smoke. Yeah, I want all of that. And it's consequences with that because now you just kind of marginalize yourself, right? Like, because a lot of people just ain't gonna fuck with you. You look at Charleston White. Now, Charleston is kind of calming down a little bit, but I feel like be careful, man. Like when you start,
he's gonna sweat him.
I mean, Charlemagne kind of started out like that, and he was able to turn his shit, around. So maybe they can do like that because I mean, it was at a point where I think who was that? Lil Kim people was he had to run from some people, but shit, he had to run from Lil Kim people. Baby came and seen him, so
I mean, you right. Charlemagne was absolutely the worst years back. Like I used to say shit on. I used to be like, "Come on, man!" Like, and then he get a dude a booty for Christmas and all this, and like it's just
crazy.
Saying a bunch of suspect stuff, and I'm literally just trying to drop my daughter off at the bus stop in the morning, so I got the radio playing, and it's like this is, and even she would be like, "Oh, Dad, what is they?" In some of the topics, red lights and stuff like that, and having sex on a red light and all this kind of stuff. Like, I'm like, bro, this is morning radio. People are on their way to work, but you're right. But I think he did his more for corporate reasons because I think somebody sat him down and said, "Okay, bro, now switch this up," because all of a sudden it became about therapy and getting his relationship right and investing his money, and he ain't nowhere near as reckless as he once was. Because for a moment, he was all the sniffing J-Lo seat, and he always took a fart out of this dude. It was crazy, man. It was crazy with Charlemagne, but you're right. He turned it around.
Maybe it was due to the therapy. Like maybe that's why he goes so hard on it because now he is a real mental health advocate. And maybe he was that reckless dude because he was fucked up in the head, and now that he see the peace and tranquility that come with it.
Well, guess who he was trained under? Wendy Williams.
Right. Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
Yeah,
that's what made me think of it.
That's it. I'm telling you, man. It's investing in. It's like right now with the young rappers, you keep talking about death. You keep talking about somebody killing you or you killing somebody. This is your subject matter every day. Pretty soon it comes to fruition, right? It's you can talk yourself into a situation. And that's why I say, like, I try to be objective as well as subjective on this show. And you can't always do that. I understand that. And I ain't scared to give my opinion on something, but I'm saying I try to consider both sides of the fence, right? And just really be, I never wanted to be a tabloid. I never wanted to have a tabloid. I never wanted to get notoriety because I'm on here talking greasy about celebrities or somebody like that. Now we said some stuff about some celebrities, right? And people say, damn, but but that's not what this show is based on. Every now and then I say some dumb shit or whatever, or I will. I mean, I'm the type of person where whatever I say behind your back, I say to your face anyways. So it's not like it's a secret, right? I'm never really worried about that. But it's important for you to understand what you're doing. And so my advice to anybody who's looking to start a podcast or start a content creation or want to get out here in the community and deliver a message, really think about your foundation. Right? Don't think you can start by doing a whole bunch of negative shit and then I'm gonna flip that motherfucker and turn it into something good. Most of the time, the negativity is gonna catch up with you first,
right?
And you're gonna have to pay, right? Karma is real. I don't know. People say I don't believe in it. You got people who don't believe in God who believe in karma. They say that shit real. I thought you didn't believe in it. I don't, but karma real. I don't know how you can justify that, but it is what it is. You have the right to your opinion. Right?
Cause and effect, cause and effect.
Yeah, man, and we finna get out of here. But did y'all see the footage of the police in Uvalde, Texas,
running
in the scene
with the phone?
Mass murderer, this killing spree. Did y'all see this?
With the phone, he had a picture that one.
It was a bunch of them. It was like there was a school camera
of the dude with the phone with the and his lock screen was the Punisher, and this was the cop that was running and shit.
Yeah,
his lock screen was Punisher, man.
And there was that mama. Shout out to that mother who ran up in there and got her kids. She said, "I'm stand here." She went and got her, and she was the first one to say, I ran past all kinds of police just standing there scared with their guns in their hands. I went there and got my kids.
I think they had stopped her the first time or something
Right.
like that.
They
and
did at first.
She got through them and got her babies.
That's mama. Mama get down.
Right.
Mama gonna go get her baby.
She turned into the mama from I'm gonna get you sucker. Hit all kind of backflips to that
Man.
shit.
And then, before we go, we've talked about Herschel Walker before. Y'all just go. And this dude is actually in the lead in his, I think, senator, congressman, whatever he's running for in Georgia. He's like the favorite to win. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on in Georgia? Then they asked dude about clean air the other day. He started talking some shit about Japan trying to steal our clean air, and we got the cleanest air. This dude is incoherent, man. At first I said, well, he's a Sambo. He's not a Sambo. He's just not a very smart person. Like ignorance doesn't have a race, right? I don't want to call him ignorant, but I'm gonna say he's not the most well-read individual, well-spoken individual. And I don't know why he's been propped up. I guess it's because he subscribes to the conservative kind of. He said, "No, I'm down with the Republicans." But
Yeah,
man, he's
with
saying the
OPP.
dumbest shit. He's saying the dumbest shit. Like, come on,
He's down with OPP.
what's that stand for? Oppressional people politics. I don't know. I don't know what that stands for. Or is that another way to say?
It just sounds funny. You kept saying he was down with something.
Right, just jump. Like I said earlier in the show, just jump. Just say the shit. It don't matter.
Right.
I was like, huh? I thought you was on something. I'm like, my son be saying ops. Maybe is that what that means? Is that what it means? Ops. I'm dumb as hell. Man, weekend coming up. Last day, we lost Courtney. I was hoping she had a book for us. But weekend coming up, a lot going on. We in the midst of the summer, swinging things. Kamar, what you got? What you got popping this weekend?
I got a funeral, man. My nephew's funeral. Going to, man, Doe's son.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. But I will be at the Foundry Market tomorrow.
Okay.
I will be there. But next week, man, I'm telling you, man, it's finna get real busy, man. Next week, I got the garden. I'll be down at the garden. Then I'll be over at the vocational center on Wednesday. Then I'll be at the Foundry Market on Thursday. Then I'll be at Outpost Friday. And I'm gonna be somewhere Saturday. I'm not sure where yet, but I'm gonna be somewhere. Make sure I'm in the place to be somewhere.
Owe me $20. Some shit. Fuck. Man. Boy, getting it in. I'm gonna have to give me some sea moss. I'm like, straight out of Lincoln Park, man. It's real sea moss. Real, what you got shaking this weekend, man? You gardening? What you doing?
This weekend I'm gonna try to get down to Bastille Days and see if I can find some fabric for my lady. You know, she a seamstress and shit like that. So I'm gonna see if I can catch one of them vendors with like the African cloth and shit, so that she can add to her stuff.
I'll probably catch that too.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, man. I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. But then on the 23rd of July, I was talking to Beatrice from the Foundry Market, and she was saying that if I wanted, I got to reach out to her and solidify. But on the 23rd of July, she was saying that I could do another book conversation circle. So at the Foundry Market on the Saturday, July 23rd. So right now I'm about to make sure I do everything I'm supposed to do to make that happen. And then that'll be not this Saturday, but the Saturday after next. But for anybody who been trying to catch my books or my gratitude journals and ain't made it to Amazon yet, I got some on deck now. And then Saturday the 23rd, you'll be able to catch me there and catch some.
Okay. Sharon Evans said, "Miss you at Tricklebee." I don't know.
Yeah. I usually do the events at Tricklebee. Last Saturday, I was double booked. I was booked. I had an event I was supposed to be at for the whole weekend, and you know what I mean. And something had to give, you know.
Hey,
unfortunately, something had to give.
Y'all support these brothers. Listen, man. When I said testify, I was serious. Like when I was putting this show together, I really started thinking about all the things I've been blessed with. I started to look at all the things I've overcame, right? I left high school. I was voted most likely to be institutionalized by age 30 and most likely to succeed by questionable means. Right. And I was also at that time, they was telling us we wouldn't get further than 19 years old. That was our life expectancy. All of that's under the rug. All that's just so much water under the bridge. And the one thing I've always tried to do is I've always tried to keep going, staying focused. My mind, I always feel like I need to keep developing my mind. I've never been at a point where I feel like I know everything. It ain't gonna behoove me, as they say, to train, to get my blade sharper, to work on my art, like Dragonfly Jones say, work on your art, right? Like, and so I think people need to understand what's the phrase, it goes, tough times don't last, tough people do, right? And more people in our community
Mhm.
be looking at the fact we focus so much on what we don't have. We focus so much on the things that are bad that we can't really even focus on the things that are good. This is where the term "the rose that grew from concrete" comes from. Something perseveres and succeeds against the odds. Something that's an anomaly. It's not even supposed to be there. These things happen every day. And in most of our lives, there have been some anomalies. And sometimes we are good at recognizing them and giving the praise and the thanks that we should in the right direction. And sometimes we are not. Now, I'm not saying that there's some people out there right now who saying, Kev, I can't find no rose growing from this concrete. It's all bad. I'm telling you that if you stay focused and change the way you process things, you see, in order to really change the situation, you got to change the way you think about it. And so I'm guaranteeing those people who are going through some tough times, if you stay focused and you persevere and you do what you should do to keep your soul clean, right? You don't let this desperation lead you to doing something crazy, right? I'm not gonna go out here and bust old women in the head because I'm hungry. No, I may go to the shelter and get some food until I find me a little five and dime. Now, maybe I might hit a lick here or there, sell a sack here and there, do what I got to do here and there. That is what it is. But I ain't robbing nobody for this shit, and I ain't killing nobody for this shit.
Right.
I ain't setting nobody up. I ain't selling no dummies. I ain't doing none of that shit. Fair exchange ain't no robbery. So,
Exactly.
and when you start pointing in that direction, you start saying, because you get to the point and you look back and you say, man, bro, I had to get off my ass to take care of my family, and I went out and did this. I went out and did that. And I don't know how I did it. Some days I left the crib, I didn't, and you come back home, right? And you keep going. The ends do justify the means. And so if we as Black people get more fixated on that, what's my own testimony? What story am I leaving if I leave here tonight? People can come behind me and say, what? Well, he never really had a whole lot of money, so he got out here and went to sticking motherfuckers. So that's what you got to do. Well, he was shot in the head on an attempted robbery. He went out like a soldier. If you don't get your dumb ass out of here,
Right.
we need to put our minds in the right place, because we keep asking what's wrong with the community. One of the things is our focus ain't in the right place, and we can't see the forest for the trees. As we say, I'm hungry, dog. I don't got no money. What I'm supposed to do? I'm broke. Well, you got to get up out that situation. You got to fight your way out that situation. Put the pistol down, right? They say, is it the bullet or the ballot? Put the knife down. Put down your anger until the point where you so mad about what you ain't got that you want to hurt somebody else and take theirs, because most of the time, even when you take it from them, it doesn't last, right? Motherfuckers, we finna go hit a lick. Everybody go hit a lick for $50,000 if we get lucky, three of us, and we split the money up. More often than not, we all broke within a month. Nobody said, I'm gonna take my half and put it down on the property, bro, and get a little crib for my moms and them and get them out the project. We ain't thinking like that. Right? We saying, man, we got to do this shit again. Next time we're going to try to get more. Once again, now you've built a foundation, because now you are, man, he getting money. Well, because they rob people. How long does that last? How long is the career of a stick-up kid? Right? How long is the real career of a pimp? Somebody who manipulates and uses other people. That's not a long career. That's not a good career plan. So it's just like being a Kia boy, or what they call it, a Buffum boy, or whatever it is. My son tell me about little gangs all the time around the city, and I'm like, well, that's just a temporary investment. There's no dividends that's going to be paid on that stock, right? And so morally, that's where we have to go. And that's why I said testify, because I really enjoyed hearing everybody on the show's testimony. And I know as we go along, when we get off the air, everybody in their head going to say, I should have said this. because I overcame that shit too. Oh, I ain't tell them about this. I ain't say that. We had to do part 2 of that show. And if you out there was listening and you start to think about your own story and what you have overcome to get to this point, you can share it on the next show, man. It's an all day, everyday thing, man. I'm just saying. I've always been a glass half full type of individual, even though my wife say that I'm a glass half empty type dude. All the time, you're so glass half empty. I'm like, no, it's half full of me. It's still something left to drink. I don't got a problem to the glass empty. That's when I'm like, this is bullshit. Because I always be willing to say, at least I got a half a glass left, right? When I get down to the end of my drink and shit on my bottle, I'm like, damn, I only got a half a bottle left. Yeah, chemical dependency, y'all. But no, man, peace and love. Thank y'all for listening to Outlaw Radio, man. We really appreciate the support, man. I want y'all to know it's a labor of love, but it's damn sure labor, man. And we always appreciate the conversations, even if some people are having those conversations off our show, even if they take our ideas and utilize them on their own platform. It's all good, man. Variety is the spice of life, man. So it takes a bunch of different stuff to make a good meal, not just one single solitary ingredient. And we talk to people all the time who get confused, like, man, what is an Uncle Tom? What's a Sambo? What's a coon? We get to calling each other names and giving each other titles, and then we want to fight, and we get upset with each other. But you really shouldn't be upset if somebody calls you a coon or a Sambo or Uncle Tom. All you have to do is ask yourself whether or not your contribution to the community is outweighed by your criticism. And if that's the case, I can guarantee you probably a coon. I will see y'all next Monday night, man. We'll top it up again for Outlaw Radio live from the basement, man. Peace and love.
Peace.
Dynamite.
Dynamite.